Hello YouTube and hello to my dear subscribers and my standard intro. Today we're gonna have a jolly good session with AtticusMJ, and we are trying to keep it the topic based on Dark Souls, but we already
it's destined to wildly go out of control, probably making fun of DSP by the end.
Yeah, DSP will absolutely be in the topic as well.
I'm pressing the record button.
Well, I also got a lot of good things to say about DSP, but that's for that. He may be an asshole sometimes, but that's for later. Maybe we'll talk about the Switch as well, because this week
that's fine.
The Switch got released, and what are the opinions and
it tastes terrible.
It tastes terrible. That I think I will agree with.
Yeah, that's a joke. Like, for some reason, all the mainstream game journalism in America is talking about how it tastes awful. It's like, get all these fucking people fired. What the hell are you doing?
Well, it's the name probably as well. I think NX would have been my favorite. Nintendo
Why
NX.
are people tasting cartridges?
But Switch, that name is already it gives you a foul taste. I think it's the name as well. And we're gonna talk as well probably about Bloodborne a little bit, and maybe
I'd love to.
in a diversity track about Neo, because that's a game that was recently released as well.
I can tell you probably don't want to play it.
Yeah, that's probably what I was going to say as well.
It's Ninja Gaiden with Dark Souls visuals.
I've seen Artificial play it, and I've seen him rage quit twice.
I mean, it's not a bad game. It's just, don't walk into it being like, yay, something like Dark Souls. Like, you should walk in and be like, yay, something like Ninja Gaiden that's slightly different.
Yeah, it's Dark Souls, and that's what I wrote to you as well. It looks like Dark Souls on fast forward. In Dark Souls, I have the time to block when I see something happening or roll away, and with Neo, it's so fast that there is so much less respawn time, and some people are able to play that and like that. But for me, I'm more I can barely give up a Dark Souls, let alone Neo. So I wanted to make this video with Atticus. I think he's very well known with the Dark Souls series, and I've watched some of his Dark Souls playthroughs, and it's a different level that I ever will be able to do in Dark Souls. I already recorded 2 sessions in Twitch. And I called them an old fart tries Dark Souls 2, and I got Twitch so far that it will be they are in the library, so people can watch them, and I'm failing so hard sometimes, but that's okay, because I just keep trying.
It's a learning experience. You learn from the experience and you come back trying again.
Yeah, true. And sometimes I need 10 tries to learn anything, but
sometimes it's like that.
Yeah, especially with some boss fights, but that's already Dark Souls 2, because that's what I'm playing now. So I think Atticus will be a nice conversation partner for this jolly good cooperation about Dark Souls.
Anywho, we thought about starting it talking about how we seen the game, perceived the game at first, and got into the game. And if you're a long-time viewer of mine, you probably got a good grasp of how the hell it is with me. But I will go over my end story. But I'm more interested to hear Carter's point of view, because I always heard him say, like, it's not my type of game. I could never play it. And now he's like a drug-addicted person now on it.
Yeah, that's sometimes with the game. Sometimes games do that to me. Makes me like you said, like a drug addict. And I just can't get enough, and I just want to keep completely playing. And then at some point I get bored with the game, and I can also quickly leave a game and go for something else. But that's a little bit the downside. I often do not complete games. I like them for 70% of the game, and then I'm like, okay, I want to try something else, and then most of the times I never go back. But the first
It's
time,
definitely
yeah,
it's definitely hard to get to finish a lot of games when you're in the adult world. You have a job, and I feel really sorry for full-time family type gamers too, because you have family, full-time job. That
yeah,
makes it hard to complete, especially in our kind of games where we like playing RPGs that are usually like 60 to 100 hours, depending on which series and that.
true,
Like,
true. And for us, or at least for me, it already takes 2 or 3 weeks to complete the game. So indeed, if you have a job and you have got to work a lot and do a lot of family, and you have 1 hour of gaming a week, then games like this can take 1 hour a day, of course. Yeah, it will take so many days indeed to complete the game. And I still have Horizon Zero Dawn waiting for me, but I'm not gonna touch it because I know how it will go with Dark Souls. So I'll just keep it sealed. And the other one, oh, which one is it? Which I'm very anxious to play, but also still waiting for it. Torment, Tides of Numenera. I really like the
oh,
idea of
isn't that like a spiritual sequel of an old Baldur's Gate game?
yeah, of Planescape Torments.
Yeah. I got
Yeah,
that on GOG, I believe.
yeah.
I believe.
But that's a game. That game runs in such low resolution and very basic UI if you compare it to Baldur's Gate. But this is a spiritual successor, lots of story. And like I said, I'm not gonna touch it because I know how it will go. Then I stop playing a game which I'm enjoying at this moment, and yeah, then I'll never go back. But the first time I think it was on your channel when I saw what Dark Souls was about, and then I knew this is not a game for me. I've never been good in reaction games like let's say the Mario games on the NES, the first Mario. I'm so bad in those games. I always fall in
Yeah,
all the
I'm bad at platformer games too.
yeah, platformer games. Reaction. You have to be very quick in reaction. Um, yeah, and
There's only a few I ever get into, and that's like
mhm.
Castlevania. I really like Cave Story. I know I always go about how I really feel Cave Story was really well made. And recently I did Shantae's Whiskey's Revenge, which is a really short one, but I enjoyed it. And then Shovel Knight. Oh, good lord, Shovel Knight's so good.
Shovel Knight. I heard more about that. I think from Bear Hugger. He's got a YouTube channel as well. He was talking about
Yeah,
that game
maybe
as
you should try
well.
that one. It has elements of Dark Souls in it in a platformer sense. Maybe you'll get into that one.
Mm, maybe someday. I'll,
It
I'll,
is
I'll
a
just
really good game.
I'll look it up to see what it's all about.
It gives you lots of control. Like the things I like about in comparison with Dark Souls is when you die, your money is where you died,
Mm-hmm.
and you got a chance to get back.
Yeah.
And in the way you can control the difficulty in the gameplay itself, like all the unique tools you get that let you do like special like Mega Man equivalent like powers, all that stuff is optional. You do not; those aren't mandatory to beat the game. They make it easier and increasing your health and magic in a similar vein, like Legend of Zelda's heart containers. You can ignore them all, make the game hard as fuck, or collect them all and make it much easier.
Mm-hmm.
So those two senses is very similar to Dark Souls because you control your leveling and how you level up your gear and all that and what you're on your character. You can master everything and become a level 700 character, or you can just be limited in certain aspects.
And which game was that? What game?
Uh, with Shovel Knight,
Oh, that's Shovel
you
Knight.
talking
What
about
you what you're talking about right now? That's Shovel Knight.
Right now, I was referring to like Dark Souls. Well, in
Hmm.
the, you control your levels,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
your
yeah,
gear, and that, that's how you control the difficulty.
yeah.
It's like, oh, the four kings are hard as shit. I'm gonna level up 200 times, and they'll look like little puppies then.
Hmm.
Like I always have trouble. Like I was shocked when you told me they were easy. I was like, man, what the fuck level is Carter? Fuck, they're like my worst nightmare.
I really cannot. Yeah, this video is gonna contain spoilers about Dark Souls 1 and a few about Dark Souls 2 probably. But we'll try to keep it at a minimum. Yeah, Four Kings. We gotta get back to that later. So I've never been good at those games. And
Yeah.
another one classic is Assassin's Creed. I did try it, but I'm so bad at it. All that jumping and climbing.
The first one or one of the other ones?
All of them.
I've
Really.
always played the first one, and it was just to me. Had a good idea, but just
I think
getting the information for each target was so boring, and it repeated every single target.
I think I tried 2 and 3, and then
I'm
4.
always told two's like the best. Is what I'm always told.
I heard that as well. Yeah. So, and when I saw you playing Dark Souls, I was like, no, 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 no. It's a controller game, and you gotta have a good reaction, um, able to react on what's happening on the screen, basically quickly. And I was like, no, no, no. But yeah, 3 years ago, I was going to how do you say that? A Goodwill store. That's correct English, right? I was at a Goodwill store.
Yeah, Goodwill store is where I go thrift for like games that like say Kmart's like, okay, we're overstocked on Mighty Number 9, so we're gonna donate them, and Goodwill can get money for good causes, and people will stop beating on our door saying Mighty Number 9's Kickstarter was the worst failure in history, and we'll die.
Yeah, and where people bring their stuff, and the Goodwill store sells it for a good cause, for hungry people in Africa or whatever. Yeah. So I went to a Goodwill store, which I visit every 2 weeks
I
or
suppose you
something.
have Goodwills in your area. I didn't even know they were overseas like that.
Yeah, we do have them, but there are not many. There are much more cash converters. You know, those kinds of stores.
The more you know.
The pawn shops. But I went inside and I found a box copy of Deus Ex Human Revolution for the PlayStation 3 limited edition, and next to it was for 10 or 15 euros limited edition for Dark Souls. And I liked the box, and there was an art book inside, so I picked up Dark Souls, and I got home with Dark Souls 3 years ago, and I put it in because I already played the Deus Ex Human Revolution, so that was nothing new. But I wanted to try Dark Souls as well, and so I put it in my PlayStation 3, and I met the first boss of Dark Souls, and then I found out, okay, you gotta run upside to find the sword and the shield and all that stuff, and then you really gotta fight the first boss. And I did try. I think I tried it 2 times, and I was like, no, 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 this is no, this is absolutely not a game for me. So that was my first encounter with Dark Souls for myself, basically.
Yeah, the tutorial for Dark Souls 1 isn't the friendliest. I mean, it still gives you hints in that, but the first encounter with the tutorial boss certainly gives you no hint to actually, you got no real chance unless you're a dodge master 1 foot.
Yeah, it's ridiculously hard for the start of the game. It's ridiculously hard.
You do get just I'm assuming you don't know this, but you actually get something if you kill him when you first meet him, and it reoccurs in New Game Plus, which you'll have equipment for. But you can get in the original game If you actually kill him, the first encounter, you will get the Great Demon Hammer. I think it was. It's one of the huge ass 50 strength weapons. So if you actually can kill him with your bare fist, and people have done it, there's a lot of people who've done it. You can get a highly overpowered weapon willy-nilly.
Some people claim they have beaten him the second time when you go back at level 1, and I believe him. I believe there are people insane
once
enough
you get weapons,
to
he's manageable at your base level of whatever class you picked.
Yeah, but I mean, when you go back, to
the second one,
the second one,
yeah, I consider them separate entities
Yeah.
because you did legitimately kill the first one, but the other demon, he is a lot harder.
And some people claim they beat him as well as level 1, and I truly believe that it should be possible. And
if you can dodge it, you can live it.
yeah. But then a couple of months ago, or 3 months ago, I started playing The Witcher, and The Witcher has, for me, Witcher 3 has everything going for it. It has a great story, it's great quests, it got great voice acting, great characters, great open worlds, except one thing, and that's the battle system. The battle system of The Witcher 3 is...
one of the criticisms I heard with 3 was the leveling system's like strange with the scaling with enemies.
As well.
I've heard that as a common criticism with the third one.
Yeah. If you compare the battle system of 3 with 2 and 1, it's the problem that all major games have these days. It's dumbed down.
Casualize it for those pressing those button type people.
Yeah, and there is totally nothing interesting for me. In the beginning, it's fun. You got 5 signs and you can attack, but attacking in The Witcher is as well. You just press X or left mouse button if you're a PC gamer and you play with the mouse, and your Witcher will turn into the direction of the closest enemy, and he will just attack. So if I'm looking forward and an enemy is to my right side, I just have to click the left mouse button, and the Witcher turns to his right and attacks his sword to that monster. So there's nothing. It's just indeed clicking the X button. That's the battles. And
so it's very Diablo 1 in the attacking sense.
Yeah, he just
mash.
He just auto corrects himself to any position. It's like that Batman game. That's the same. That Batman.
Oh, you mean how he just hops around, breaking everyone's necks?
You don't have to do anything. Just sit down, press the X button, and Batman will do everything.
I only have the first one out of the whole Asylum games where they to the 5th one, and I've only played the first one. I didn't get into it. Like all the stealth and hanging around the rooftop stuff was cool.
Yeah.
You know, grappling people and hanging them and scaling the fuck out of AI. But like the actual just running in melee shit was just boring.
Yeah, and you just have to watch until an enemy got that orange sign above his head. Then you have to press the right mouse button or the circle to block. So you do not have to pay attention to the enemy itself. No, if there's a yellow exclamation mark above his head, he's going to do an attack. You have to block. So you just watch for an exclamation mark and press the X. But talking about The Witcher...
You get this huge combo going. Yep. 80 goons later.
Yeah. See, Mom, how good I am. It's ridiculously. It's so dumbed down.
You know, actually, that somebody should make a meme with DSP. When you probably never watched him do Overwatch.
No.
Some of his first sessions of Overwatch, anyone who played McQuee, he kept making fun because McQuee is he uses a revolver. And he's like the hardest to aim type killer in my opinion. If you really good at aiming, you got like 5-6 shots, and then you'll have defenseless reloading. You're a squishy killer. You're a cowboy. You're not Weinhardt and Giant Suamo, but he kept making fun of all the people headshotting him as a McQueen be like, Mommy, look what I did. Can you keep giving me money so I can play the cowboy? It's like maybe somebody should say that to him when he's playing next Batman game or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I have no clue about Overwatch.
Yeah. Oh, I just thought it was funny why we were talking about
Yeah.
it, because McQueen to me would be like one of the high scale learning curve type characters. You know, he has very. I mean, you know, console has aim assist, but like DSPX, like that's how they get all their headshots. It's like, yeah, the aim assist just directly goes straight for the head. Boom.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I don't think it works like that.
No, I think it's
especially
skill.
when he plays Winston all the time too, who has a gun that shoots lightning bolts that do auto aim to anything that's in front of him towards a certain distance. So irony. Anyway, yeah, go on. That just came to mind while we were talking about
Yeah, no
Batman.
problem. And so, yeah, The Witcher 3. It's almost a perfect game, but the battle system was ridiculous. And
Yeah, I believe Wags. I don't know if you know Wags. He's a giant PC master waste type person on YouTube. He does a lot of long vlog kind of things on different subjects and does reviews. If I remember correctly, Witcher 3 was like his game of the year for. It came out last year, or was that the year before?
the year before, and last year it got that Blood and Wine expansion pack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the year it came out, it was his game of the year. He drooled all over it. He really liked it.
I think it is worth the game. For me, it's game of the year material because the effort they put
If I remember
into
correctly,
this.
he made. If I remember correctly, he made a wage video because Fallout 4 got game of the year, and everyone pissed all over it for all the features they took out of it, if I remember correctly. So he's like, why the hell did this get game of the year? Witcher 3 didn't.
Yeah, I think Witcher 3 is more game of the year material than Fallout 4, to my opinion. It's like I said, it got so many NPCs, a very good story, very good side quests. The main quests are amazing. The world itself is really, really great. It's
Yeah, I've been meaning to play them. I have 1 and 2 off of GOG. I've been meaning to try them out, but you know, the giant backstock of everything, hundreds of games physically, hundreds of games digitally.
Yeah.
Never ends.
Yeah. And I did play Witcher 1 and 2 before I started playing Witcher 3. So
Yeah, because I'm sure there's a lot of references and throwbacks to the past games, I would assume.
It's minim. Yeah, some of the characters.
Yeah, I wouldn't
of
think
course.
it's like the main story, but I mean
Yeah.
like Easter egg kind of things. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's like, oh, they're referencing an NPC I met in the last game. Oh, cool.
His girlfriend. It's not a girlfriend. It's his companion Jennifer is through all games and other characters as well.
I was gonna say, hasn't he had like millions of girlfriends by now? I mean, like, wasn't that like a big controversy feature of the first game?
You can, yeah, you can, but he lost his memory, so he's got an excuse, you know.
he lost his memory with that deck of cards from the first game.
With Trish Marigold, Trish is basically would have been my choice, but Gerald is totally for Jennifer. So okay, and it's an RPG, but you play as Gerald. It's not an RPG where you can play as yourself. You really play.
This is me, and I'm gonna either be the greatest person on earth, or I'm gonna kill everyone.
It's within set boundaries. And of course, you can make out with Trish again in 3, but I didn't do that because it's Gerald. But the combat system it was lacking. And when I was playing Witcher 3, I stumbled again on This is how you don't play videos.
Oh, Phil and Ritual.
You
I
come,
always
yeah.
remember the Ritual 2 shit. Everything not working and all the screaming he did. Oh my goodness.
The Witcher 2 of DSP, This is how you don't play, is also an amazing experience to watch.
If you call a train wreck on fire falling off the Antarctic cliff into the freezing waters, into the depths of pressure, crushing it. Amazing.
It's The Witcher 2 starts out with a very hard fight, and yeah, he was so. Phil, when he can't win, you know how he's
It's
blaming
either
everything.
find a way to cheese it or do it so many times I just got lucky and finally won the lottery.
Yeah, and blame the game, and blame the producers, and blame everyone besides himself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But
Somehow it's Hideo Kojima's fault.
mhm. And
Ba, 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 ba.
so I also watched
Yeah,
his. This is how you don't play Witcher 3. I also watched him do that, and
I haven't seen that, but I can't imagine it being much better.
yeah, but he decided to skip all the side quests. He wants to rush again.
Oh, of course, he wants the ending.
Yeah.
Final boss ending,
Yeah,
cash off of it, and move on to the next game that just released.
yeah, and Witcher 3 is
Yeah,
Witcher 3 is not a game where you can skip. Yeah, you can skip the side quests, but you miss on items, you miss on experience points and everything. So he tries to rush a game and then says, "Yeah, this game is too hard." Yeah, but you didn't work for it. You didn't get the good sets which you will get when you do the side quests. You didn't get good swords, and all that stuff. And then I stumbled upon him playing Dark Souls. This is how you don't play Dark
and
Souls.
see, and ironically, this is how I first ever heard Phil was a topic on game FAQs during. I was looking up something on the boards or something, and somebody's like, "Man, you see this fucking retard with so and so subscribers playing Dark Souls on YouTube?" And I like clicked it, and that's the first time I ever seen Phil. I'm like, oh my goodness. And he pissed me off so much. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? What? I was so fanboyish over the whole thing. I'm like, you are so fucking stupid. Like, what? It's like everything he complained about was so fucking stupid. Oh my god.
That's why one of your comments showed up in one of those. This is
Yeah,
how you
that's the
don't
only
play.
time one
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
It's the only one that ever showed up in any of them. But
Yeah, I saw a comment of Atticus. I don't know what it said, but one of your comments was in this is how you don't play video. I think Dark
I
Souls
think
1.
it was the one by Queen. She usually does all the Souls ones. Usually, there's some other people, but she's
Yep.
like one known for doing the Souls versions of them.
Yeah, and I
Like
like
Evil AJ is known for the Metal Gear ones.
how they also play sometimes the comments of the YouTube video.
Yeah, I like it when
yeah,
they. A lot of newer ones don't do that very much. A lot of the old ones, when like it was forced being a thing, a lot of people did, not so much anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I like seeing some of the creative comments, or I like the irony ones that call it out beforehand. It's like, I'm just calling it right now. This is going to happen. This is what he's going to do. And then they'll be like, when it gets to the part, called it. That's where I wish you could post pictures on YouTube. Be that. Take like Mr. Popo from Dragon Ball Z Abridged, because in the abridged version he makes a subtle hint that Krillin's gonna die when they go to Namek, and then when he actually gets killed by Frieza, it goes to him. He's like, called it.
Yeah, you gotta have played that game to have the experience yourself, of course. And I know a lot of people who are watching have played that game and know the situation probably. So I wanted something. I wanted not to play the battle system of Witcher 3 anymore. So that's another game I will never complete. I got 140 hours in Witcher 3, and
Damn.
yeah, man, and I wasn't. Well, I think I was over the half. I haven't not even touched any DLC or expansion pack. It's so huge and so many good quests and stuff and
Yeah, see,
exploring.
in games like that and like the Elder Scrolls stuff, I
Mhm.
mean, I dab in certain things, but I'm not the person who goes like, I'm going to solve this entire town's problems and do the same thing at the next one. The next one, it's like, no, I'll pick up some and then be like, okay, I'm going to move along now. Sorry, Timmy is going to have to save himself from the well.
I, I cannot do that. I have to do every quest, everything I find. I have to do it. I have to explore every age. And yeah, the downside is
I
do.
like exploring, but you know,
Mhm.
I kind of like in the middle ground. Like I don't want to rush through it like Phil, but stuff like Elder Scrolls, it's like you know, you can really sink probably like 400 hours trying to do
Yeah,
literally everything in the game, and
yeah,
that's not realistic for me.
no,
I can't do that. So I'm kind of in the middle ground between the two.
yeah, and then you get a burnout after lots and lots of hours.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's especially why I don't usually do everything.
Hmm.
There's very rare times, like something like Dead Rising 1. I enjoyed it so much I did everything in the game. That's really rare for me to do. I also did for Legend of Mana. I really enjoyed that when I was young. Played it co-op all the time with various friends. I did everything except for there is one quest because I need Chocobo Racing to have it be available. But aside from that one quest, I've done everything in Legend of Mana. Let's see. And of course, Dark Souls 1 and Demon Souls, I did everything in those two. After that, it
Yeah,
didn't
you.
seem as interesting to do everything anymore after that because the trophies all became just pretty much flag points for progress for the most part.
Yeah, you really gotta to get to get Dark Souls 1, for example, Platinum. Uh, I don't think you can do it in one playthrough. You gotta do it in a couple.
Yeah, because the trophy requires you to have all the boss weapons,
Hmm.
and I believe the Great Wolf has three, so you have to at least do 2.5, unless
I see.
you have somebody
Yeah,
give you the weapons,
yeah,
and then that breaks that. But if you're not taking stuff from people, then yeah, I'm pretty sure you have to do 2 full playthroughs and a half of one to get the Wolf Soul.
yeah. That's for me. That's too much. I like to play it once and then go to an. I prefer to go to another game instead of playing it twice and a half. The
Well,
only.
see, what was fun with Dark Souls 1, though, is because, you know, you have extra bosses, like, when you understand the story, it's like, oh, now I'm going to go kill those people.
Mhm. I think Dark Souls. If I will go back to Dark Souls 1, is for a new game co-op. I think
Yeah.
that's where
Like I
co.
said, I think it'd be fun if you got the DLC, either the physical download, and maybe in the future, you, me, and Dan do a fun playthrough or something all together through the DLC in the main game.
That'll be that will be a good reason to go back as well. But for new game co-op with good weapons with because the base game it's a shame to play the base game not counting the sum of the bosses of course, but the base game you should play solo. I think besides some bosses, if you cannot beat the boss, just invite someone. That's convenient. But the areas to travel towards a new boss in a normal game, I think it's best played solo. If you do that co-op, it's a bit too easy. But I hope and I think a new game, if you play that then the game is a bit harder. And I think that's where co-op should shine. In
And
also
see,
in.
like I told you, I like playing with co-op. So to counter that, I kept to a low level. I mean, I beat Dark Souls 3 at like I think it was 47. I even did the side boss, the really hard one. I won't spoil it, but you actually have to go find him. He's man, he fucking hard. I have to say, kind of cheesed him a little bit using range,
Mm-hmm.
range, and lots of fucking lightning bolts. Well, for half the round, the other
Yeah,
round because
I,
it's a 2 round thing. Well,
sometimes some bosses and some things I like doing ranged. It feels like cheesing. If you hide behind a pillar.
see, like I
Uh,
told you in that regard, there's being smart and knowing you're breaking the game.
mhm.
It's actually, what do you do for the ceaseless discharge demon? I'm curious, actually.
The which one?
That's the he is a really big ass demon that spews lava out of him. He's you got the wing that lets you go in lava from him. No, wait,
That's
that came from the tail of the thing underneath him.
wasn't that the
Uh,
boss before the centipede who spews all that lava?
after you kill the spider chick, he's the next boss after Hall.
I don't. Oh man, I don't recall already.
You have to. Well, technically, you can actually skip him if you have shit tons of fire resistance and you properly go through the lava as minimal damage. You can actually get past him without triggering his fight, but that's usually what's Tom? I'm trying to think of for people who want to cut themselves.
Well, let me check it. How is he called? How is that boss called?
I'm pretty sure it was Ceaseless Discharge. I'm pretty sure that's, unless I'm thinking the wrong name. He's technically the brother of the witch, the sisters, the children of the Witch of Izalith had majority daughters, but she had one son. Ceaseless Discharge was her son, and he was mutated into a gigantic demon that literally spews lava that haunts him.
That's the one before the centipede, isn't it?
Yeah, he should be before that. I'm curious how you fought him because there's a way to cheese him that's always been debated whether it was something on purposely in the game or if it was a bug. I don't think the Kratos has ever conformed either one, but he is really hard to fight, legitimately, because he hits really fucking hard. Unless you over level a lot out of the bracket of whichever game plus you're in.
I did not choose him. I did. I just I fought him.
Oh wow. I gotta give you props that even if you're high level, because he hits really fucking hard. You don't dodge him right. You just you're lucky if you live one shot.
Man,
You need a lot of fire resistance to lower that damage, and even then, it still hurts. Yeah, there's a weird shit when you lower him because he walks along the cliff. If you lower him all the way back to the fog gate, for some reason he falls to his death.
oh, I think that's not intended.
Well, when you look, people have looked how he's animated, and it looks like he loses his grip and falls. So nobody, as far as like I said, as far as I'm aware, they've never officially commented whether that was legitimately there or some kind of mistake. Because people yeah, it kind of looks like he's animated like he's like, oh no, no, ah.
Well, if there is an animation for it, then maybe.
Like people it looks kind of like he's falling off. I mean, he's like, "Woo, souls, falling apart and shit." It's like, so it's like I don't know. It's funny though, but yeah, it's definitely a way that it one shots him. And literally, I mean, he just dies and falls to his death to that. So, yeah, that's usually the common way of killing him because he is really hard if you're not I think you'd basically have to will Havel's set probably to fucking have a good chance, and
Oh
you would need
wait,
a lot of
now I
endurance.
remember. This is the one. If you go to that chest and you open the chest, he awakens. He is
Yeah,
not
if
in a
you
separate
take
cave. He
it's
is. He is
it's
now.
a corpse on a table. If you
Hmm.
take it, it's
Yeah,
one of the sisters of Isolith. He's watching over. If you take it, you piss him off.
yeah. I pissed him off, but this one was. I mean, I was standing next to the chest with my great skite or skeeth. How do you say it in English? Skeeth or skite?
A scythe?
A scythe. That's the correct pronunciation. I was looting the chest with my scythe, and he has a claw or something or a big arm that.
Yeah, it's a big arm and it
Yeah,
hurts. Like I remember when I first met him, he just kept one-shotting me. I think I got to where I could live with a sliver of health. I'm like, oh my god, I can't fight this thing.
yeah. You gotta dodge the arm and then hack on the arm, and basically
Yeah,
I did not have.
you can dodge it, but the timing's really iffy in my
Hmm.
opinion. It is you have to because to me the time to dodge doesn't. It seems to me that it doesn't match when he thumps into the ground. It fell off to me. I don't know, but I couldn't get the timing for dodging, so he really more than me all the freaking
Yeah,
time.
then he can hurt.
Very hard fight. To legitimate. People cheese
Really?
it all the time. No
This
shame in cheesing the senseless discharge. Because
this was such an easy fight, man. This was for me. Really, I
oh
just
my god, this guy, audience, are you listening? This guy
come on.
is
This
telling.
fight was not hard, man. This fight was just
Yeah,
he puts
what
down that
level
arm.
was you? What
Uh,
level and how much of Havel's gear did you have
no,
on?
no havoc because that was way too heavy. What was
Well,
I?
there are other sets. I
Yeah,
think Pioneer, the Isolith set.
I
I
like
know
that
Horse.
crimson
Yeah,
rope. I
son.
always wear the crimson rope. That
The
is,
red one
yeah,
that the dude.
amazing for magical and poison resist and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah.
And the rest was, well, it was armor. It was heavy armor, but it was just dodging that arm, and then the scythe plus 15. It does so much damage, man, with dexterity bonus. So it was just hacking on the arm a couple of times, and yeah, this fight. No,
So
I
what did you do? Did you actually get the timing of the dodge?
yeah.
Nice.
I mean,
I
yeah.
couldn't get it. I couldn't get it. He just kept fucking my face into the ground every time. And you can't block it. It goes over your head, so you just end up in the ground.
I have I have trouble with the pursuer. But that's not a game. That's Dark Souls 2. The pursuer, I can try 100 times. I
Dude,
will.
you should see the people who own the pursuer in like 5 seconds. Parry,
Is-
stab, dead.
Yeah, but I have a great shield, so parry is a no-no for me.
Yeah, I know. I suck
Yeah,
at parry. I can't parry him either. But I'm
no,
just,
yeah.
I'm just saying there's different. The favorite way I love is to get somebody who parries him in front of the crossbow, and then
Hmm.
somebody else just loads it and bye.
Yeah, but he comes back so many times in other areas as well.
Oh
And
yes, later in the game you'll meet
yeah,
multiple pursuers. So what?
gee.
Just like Dark Souls, where early bosses became regular enemies later on. So
So back to where I to where I was. I was looking for a game with a combat system that was interesting, and that got me thinking back to Dark Souls. And
you're just like, well, that's supposed to be a complicated game. Maybe I
yeah,
should try it again.
and if DSP can do it, well, maybe I can do it as well. And
And then Carter built up the determination. Somebody cue the Undertale music. And his determination overwhelmed him.
yeah, the sun showed shine in my. Uh, and it's such a different experience. A Dark Souls is maybe even, yeah, you cannot compare it to The Witcher 3. in standard, it is a great game as Witcher 3 is, but in a much different context. I thought about all the negatives about Dark Souls 1, and there's quite a list. But the positives make the game so much enjoyable. Like one of the most negative is PC Master Race, 60 frames per second, 1080p, and then you go back to the PlayStation 3 and play Dark Souls. And
Oh yeah, even for me, I'm like, man, I can't. Like, I remember Blighttown was a mess, but man, it's like, we playing this after moving to the PS4 and stuff. I'm just like, wow. Like, I mean, it's not like destroying my experience, but I mean, like, I can see a lot of stuff that I never really noticed very much.
Yeah, Blighttown was really, and one of the problems with Dark Souls 1 is they.
It has a lot to do with the particle effects and stuff.
Yeah,
supposedly
it
what
is.
causes a lot of the slowdowns.
It's that big wooden thing in the background that's rendered throughout where you are in Blighttown. That big wooden thing where you can go up and down. If you look in that direction, your frame rate drops so dramatically. And Dark Souls 1 connected the performance of the game. If you have 15 frames a second, the game slows down to half speed because it's a 30 frames per second locked game. So if it's running at 30 frames a second, the game is running as it should be. But when it's dropping to 50, the game also slows down to half speed. So when you're walking through the water, and that is already slowing you down, walking towards that water wheel, man, it takes forever. Yeah, but that's how I started. The first impression was like, wow, man, this game, this frame rate is shit. This is sorry for my language. This frame rate is not optimal. That sounds a little bit better. It isn't optimal, but once if you play it a few days, you get used to it. You get used to this. You won't notice it anymore. You notice it, but you're used to it, and it becoming the standard, and it's normal. And again, I had a couple of fights with the first boss, and I think throughout Dark Souls 1 I never knew how to do a plunge attack, and I see someone do the first boss with a plunge attack. Well, man, that takes half his HP down.
Yeah, it does a lot of damage.
Oh my god.
I mean, you can do it to the Force tutorial boss. Mm-hmm. You can also do it with the Taurus demon. If you climb up the ladder with the two arches, you can repeatedly do that to him.
Yeah.
It's a little trickier to get. You can do it to the Kappa demon because of the staircase.
It should basically if you run up the stairs very quickly, probably it will work.
Yeah, they're all. If there are differences in height, you can do a jump plunge. You have to have enough distance between you and the floor, and if you have enough distance, you can activate the plunge attack animation, and thus do the damage of a plunge attack if you come into contact with your target.
Yeah.
So that's a much trickier way. But besides those bosses, for the most part, you're going to probably only do it on regular enemies and invaders. But like I said, if you can get on even ground, you can do a jump plunge. But it's a little harder because you have to have a right distance between you and the ground for it to let you do the animation.
Yeah. So
it's a lot easier than the newer ones.
So after having tried him and beat him after a couple of tries, then you get in the normal game, and that's where the game started to shine for me. The first area where you walk up the steps and they throw a firebomb to you, and you gotta really pay attention to where are the enemies, You gotta
Oh yeah, you
be,
want to
be
look through the corners, look around the ceilings. There's
yeah,
a boulder there. Looks like that might come lunged out.
yeah,
Keep an eye on that.
or a barrel with somebody behind him. Or why is he standing behind him? Well, yeah, he's gonna push it and explode the barrel. But
Yep.
that is where this game, where Dark Souls shines, to my opinion. The level design, basically as well, but you gotta be cautious and don't rush. Pay attention, learn from your mistakes, and that's the scary. You don't want to die, especially when you have lots of souls on you. That feeling of I don't want to die, and where's the next bonfire? Where's that bonfire? That feeling is, and if you then reach the bonfire with 16k souls or whatever, uh, it's the feeling. Okay, I did it. I reached it, and of course you also got the downside that you'll get defeated with lots of souls, and you cannot make it back to where you died. And but
We'll be like, yeah, I'm not going back there right now. You can keep those. Because I'm a donation from the Chosen Undead.
yeah, and in Dark Souls 1, that's still quite okay. Well, in Dark Souls 2 as well, but it's different, and that's what I wanted to talk about later as well. A little bit about the difference about 1 and 2. And yeah, since the first area, I got really appreciated of Dark Souls 1. And the only thing I don't like about Dark Souls is the invasions. Um, Especially when you're halfway in a new area. And you
So I
get
tell you should got Ornstein Spearman. Should killed him last. Great, that's when I got into invading shit.
I think um, it's something you should be able to switch off. And I understand I can play the game in offline mode, but then I don't see those nice messages on the floor. You know, those orange
Yeah.
signs like
The only ones you would see are the dev ones, and you have to use a spell to see those. Yeah, I think those
clarity or something.
7?
Hmm.
There's one in Guinevere's womb that's always completely confused people. I can't even remember what it says. There's one in the catacombs that hints about light. Oh, I don't remember all of them, but yeah, there's a few dev ones that only show up if you use that damn spell that makes more of them show up.
Right.
And that's pretty much a waste of a magic slot.
I totally agree.
I mean, some messages are useful for your blind playthrough, but you know.
So in Dark Souls 1, it was easy. I just jumped down a cliff and I'll be hollow. And good luck with your invasions, but you cannot reach me, you know. And Dark Souls 2 is quite different.
Yes, you can get invaded hollow.
Yeah, yeah. But in Dark Souls 1, so that was a good solution for me. I just jumped down a cliff once, get my souls, and play the new area as hollow. But the downside of that is, of course, sometimes some NPCs, which will spawn as phantoms only if you are not hollow.
Yep, because they follow the same rules.
Yeah. So I missed a couple of NPCs or phantoms, which I would otherwise have seen. But yeah, at least I got I think that's very welcome. The message, especially with hidden doors. If you don't know, there's a hidden wall. I'm not gonna base every wall I encounter because then a game. You can.
I do it when I have suspicions.
Yeah, when I have suspicions. Yeah. But some walls are just, without no reason, or they don't look suspicious.
Man, you should have been back when the game was brand new and everyone was trying to figure out what the pendant was for. There were people just doing streams heading everywhere. I even went to the painted wall and wasted 20 minutes. It's like, I know it has to be in the painted wall. Somewhere in here, the pendant does something. Something. It's like, yeah, I kind of trolled you all. What?
Yeah. But that's also the fun of when it's a new game. Everybody is trying. And
well, actually, it's quite brilliant. Do you know anything about the pendant?
You mean the light candle on the in the church on
The
the?
when you create a candle, you can choose the pendant as one of your starting gifts. The only other way to get the pendant, besides a player dropping it, is a random reward in the Force Covenant as well. The pendant tells you it's like fond memories. It has no in-game use though. Before the game came out, the creator said that he recommended people to choose the pendant as their starting gift. So lots of people did it under the impression that it would probably do something in the story or
Yeah.
lead to some true ending or
Yeah.
some sequel or something. And then he would started saying like, "I'll never tell the sequel of the pendant." And people were just scrambling trying to figure it out. And then when the game went to PC, people hacked the living crap out of the game. It's like,
To
I
find
can't
out.
figure it out. I can't figure it out. And then he finally broke in and admitted it was kind of an evil trolling. But what his intent was, he wanted the pendant to have fond memories. Everyone who spent time trying to figure out it was given memories with the pendant. He forced the player base to have strong memories related to an item that did nothing in the
at all.
So it was quite brilliant, as much as one of the greatest trollings I've ever seen in the game industry.
That reminds me of No Man's Sky. The portals in No Man's Sky. There were tons of streams and people trying how to activate those portals because they were working in the E3 demo or video, and in the game they don't do anything at all, those portals.
Yeah,
And
but the whole
people
thing
try
with
to
Sheen's just a completely different thing, though. 80% of the content was all lies.
yeah, the
It wasn't
portals.
trolling. It was. This is my daydream game, and we didn't make it a lot of shit, and Sony wants it out the door.
But I must admit that their latest patch is.
Supposedly you can build stuff now, which seems pointless in the game where you leave hundreds of planets behind you.
Yeah, but you can go back to your home planet. So you can go back to your base.
A friend of mine, and I don't know this 100%, but a friend of mine said when you leave a galaxy, you can't simply just go back to that galaxy. So if you want to stay with a planet you build stuff on, you have to stay in that one galaxy you're in.
All right.
If you leave it, supposedly the only way to get back is to randomly ever end up anywhere near it again.
Yeah, okay. Don't go to the center of the universe if you want to keep your
That's
base.
what I'm told.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true. I only played like an hour of No Man's Sky. I haven't went back to it at all. I'm just like, I wanted to do it so I could just talk about the game because unlike some journalists, I like to, actually know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah. I did spend a good 60 or 70 hours in No Man's Sky. It's a relaxing game, but
I don't think I could do that.
It's just watching your screen where you are grinding materials, where you are shooting with your gun for gold and for stuff, and that's to make money because I wanted to have $30 million or whatever the currency is in that game.
Yeah, that's ironically what I spent most of my time doing is just getting money to get shit.
I wanted to have that ship with the maximum cargo capacity, and
because I was like, I'm not dealing with all that shit right now. I'm getting big. First thing, bigger inventory. First task.
Yeah, that's of course. Bigger inventory and then a bigger ship because I wanted to have more slots on my ship as well. Inventory slots. But the first couple of hours of No Man's Sky were amazing, to my opinion. You put on a planet and you see everything and the wildlife, but then it degrades very, very fast. You notice that everything looks the same.
It uses too much. The pre-generating doesn't make it unique enough. There isn't enough unique things to do in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Did you hear that No Man's Sky won the most innovative game of the year award with one of the award shows? A lot of people have been losing their mind over that. I definitely think the game had a lot of how'd say a lot of interesting groundwork. It just didn't have all the stuff in it to make it amazing.
True. It it
But
is
I don't know if we're just going to say the base game, most innovative game of the year. That's. I think a lot of people are taking all the promises into mind with that.
yeah, but if you see what they delivered, you are on a planet, and everything you see in the sky, all the planets in the sky, you can fly towards without loading screen. You just so it is in a kind of way what's the word? Innovative
Innovative. Yeah,
innovative.
like I
Yeah,
said, I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
there is a lot of nice innovation in that
Mhm,
regard, but
mhm.
I don't know if it like I don't know. It seems like if he like I don't say like it's completely undeserving. It just it seems weird.
Yeah, but it shouldn't
It's
be.
like it's like one of the greatest like upsetted like it's like one of the most upset controversies I've ever seen with a game in my life, probably.
Yeah, maybe most innovative technical demo. Then I would say yeah, but to call it a
Yeah, see
game,
that sounds like
it's.
something like that. Yeah, I mean it's like very bare bones.
Mhm, mhm,
That's
mhm.
like with games like Gone Home, like where it's just a complete story where you're walking around a house, not solving puzzles or anything. Like literally, the only puzzles are two like fake panels and a lock, or you need a combination for that. Those are all your puzzles. Really, yeah. Everything else is just this tells me to go here, 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 while listening to people, blah 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 in my head. It's like I'm not saying it's a horrible experience, but when you're trying to say this is like all the mainstream journalists were like, this is the greatest game ever, perfect score, like it hardly has any gameplay in it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a terrible story, but it's like a really bold thing to say like this is the greatest thing like it wasn't just greatest the year like when Gone Home came out it was like the greatest fucking game ever like I think it was Polygon or Kotaku that was like the greatest game ever. I'm like what, like have you played Gone Home,
No,
like do you know what I'm talking about?
no.
It's it's literally a and the ending was horrible in my opinion, and it's not a cause like I don't want to heal gender politic people. It's like I don't care that the main killed his sister. Like the grand reveal is okay. The basic setup is you came home, everyone's gone, and you break in and you try to find out what happened. You find out your parents left for some errand, and you find out your sister actually ran away with her friend because she was exploring being a lesbian, and she decided she was a lesbian, and they were a Christian family, so her parents obviously hated it when they accidentally discovered about it. So she ran away with her and stole half the house's goods. That was the ending for the game. It's like when it starts out making it seem like very horror ghost like I mean the trailer itself kind of comes off like there's some kind of ghost mystery to me, and I just like I mean I don't care whether I don't have a problem with it. I'm just saying like it seems like a weak build up to be like, oh, the house was robbed and she ran away.
Hmm.
Okay.
But no,
Okay.
definitely not best game ever.
Yeah, I
With
mean, like
zero.
I could understand if you're actually gay. I can understand like it probably sucks for being in a Christian family, telling her it's wrong and shit. I can understand that probably very horrible for that, but I mean, like I don't relate to that. If you relate to it, I'm sure it's probably a lot more interesting in that aspect. But yeah, I'm just like Okay, story game. I'd say $5, but they want
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was either $20 or $29 for it. I'm like,
Ooh.
yeah, it's pretty overpriced,
Yeah.
especially when you can. It's like barely an hour, and technically, if you know where the end of the game is, you can actually beat it in like a minute
Yeah, yeah.
because you can solve the final. You can solve the key that gets you to the act that ends the game right at the beginning of the game if you know what it is. So you can literally end the game in like a minute.
That's
So
but even if you play it on a normal pace and 1 or 2 hours is totally, to my opinion, not worth the money. And
yeah,
you
see that, and when people actually made arguments like that, yeah, they either say it's like, it's an okay story game, but it's over expensive, or you had a
Mhm.
lot of people who just said shit. People just went lost their minds on like Kotaku and shit. It's like, mansplaining, misogyny, and all that kind of crap. Or like a lot of people in the gay communities were like, "Oh, it's just straight people hating on gay people because they don't like the endings revealed that the sister was gay." I'm like,
Ah,
no, it's just
no, no.
it's all story with a puzzle. Like I don't give like there's tons of Japanese games with lesbians, gays, and some of the most weirdest fucking relationships I've ever seen in fiction. Like that definitely at least I mean I could see somebody out there maybe hating it for that, but that's not my problem.
No,
So I don't want to hear you saying that that's my problem.
no. For me, the most recognizable character is, what was his name in Persona 4? Kanji? Kanji? Was it the gay guy?
Kanji
Yeah.
Tatsumi. You mess
Yeah.
with a bull and you get the horns.
It was so sweet uh, when a child was he needed something fixing. Oh, what was it?
Yeah, child needed
The
his. I
doll?
think
Was it the
his
doll?
doll was damaged
Yeah,
some, and
yeah,
he fixed it for him.
yeah. So that was really great. It was really good. Make you feel good part of the game as well, and it was so fitting for his character. That yeah,
Yeah, because Kanji's Kyoto is a design of questioning what makes somebody a man,
yeah,
which a lot of people mistake it because a lot of people mistake it thinking Kanji's fighting like whether he's gay or not. It's more of a question of whether. See, the problem with that is it has to do with the localization. There's a little because of basically his shadow. Oh man, I don't really want to get into this giant conversation really about this. Just the localization kind of made Kanji's Kyoto meaning a little confusing in America because it has shadows displayed. Because you look at it and you're just like, oh.
yeah,
But I mean, if you go in the context of how the Japanese version with it's more of a how like most men usually look at like being really strong and capable, being a man, when it's more like just being yourself.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm not trying to open a giant debate discussion on that because
About
believe me,
kanji.
I've been there. Don't need that right now.
Yeah, but it was, to my opinion, that was a great moment in Persona 4.
Oh yeah, Kanji is. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure a lot of people already know he's one of my characters in Persona 4. I like Kanji. I like Nota. I like Teddy. My favorite characters there.
I was
We
the,
say he's kind of mixed.
yeah, Rise is mixed. I was the biggest fan was the girlfriend of Chie, the fire girl, Amagi.
Yuki.
Yeah, yeah, Yukiko, Yukiko Amagi. Yeah, 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 yeah. Awesome.
Personally, I thought she was the most boring, but yeah,
Uh,
that's just me.
yeah,
Maybe it's just traditionalness.
my party was always Yukiko and Chie and of course that one
I
dude.
like Chie too.
Yeah,
Be
Chie
honest, I
was
like
also
all
good.
the characters that
Hmm.
I like all the characters that kind of break the norms, kind of things. I always like that.
Yeah, that police girl. That's also a good character. And the man guy, girl type.
Nota.
Yeah,
You're talking about Nota, the detective,
yeah, the
who was.
detective. Yeah,
You see, Nota's thing's pretty interesting. I think
yeah.
she was a. See, now I want to talk about what Brianna Wu now, but I don't want to get into that debate. Oh my goodness.
Okay, let's skip that. Interesting characters, and I can't wait for Persona 5. I'm glad we still have a complete March to play Dark Souls and Dark Souls 2, and then it's Persona time. I think it wasn't that the 5th or April or something, or was it the 4th of
For
May?
America, it's coming out in April, but I'm not sure about you all.
Yeah, it's worldwide. It's the same date. So in the EU, we
Yeah, it
get
was
it the
somewhere in
same day.
early April, I
Yeah.
believe.
All right. Yeah, then it's early April. So one more month of Dark Souls 2, and then
Sadly, I won't be able to get to enjoy it immediately because I'll finish up some stuff before I start. Because I mean, Atlas games are usually always like a guaranteed 100 hours, pretty much any of the in-house stuff, not the stuff they publish from other people, but they'll in-house property.
I hope
It's
so.
usually always a guaranteed 100 hours.
I hope so. And even with, I never minded Persona games. I don't mind grinding. The battle system is, it's you.
Oh, you ever do the add-on for the third game then? Oh my goodness.
The add-on for the first game?
Yeah, you know, the FST or whatever version where the main character isn't there and you're playing Atticus.
Nope. I didn't play that
You never
part.
played that one?
Nope.
See, you have the original, and of course that might be you might have not even got that version. I don't know how. I know Square Enix dealt with the PS2 ones. Find them quickly, but I don't know. In America, we had the original version. Then we got the FST version. I believe that's what it was called.
FES.
It's posted website like it's supposed to be like
version.
Festival something like that. Mm-hmm. And that comes with an add-on story that takes place after the main game, where you play Atticus as the main character. And then you have the PSP version that stripped that out.
Yeah.
But that, like, I always point at that and be like, this shows you how the story really carries the gameplay a lot. Because without the story, it feels like, I mean, it's like Lily, you have no social links. You don't interact with the NPCs or anything. You're stuck in the dorm. And you just go from the dorm to the dungeon to the dorm. You don't interact with social links.
I think I did play it because you have to play as her, and you get to understand her history. You have to fight other robots, and you are created. Yeah. I think if that's a part of the.
I think you're talking about Arena when you're playing the new character.
I never played Arena. No.
You sure? Because that sounds exactly like the one character storyline where she fights all her brothers and sisters, and she goes insane and gets a persona from it.
That could be
and
the
you
reason.
learn her history through it.
That makes sense.
It was really long too. She like has the longest story segment in the Arena. I'm just like, my God! Like I thought some of the other character story stuff just dragged on before the next fight. This is just insane amounts of story.
But the story is indeed dragging in Arena. Oh man, I didn't like that.
Yeah, there was a really bad pace. That's what I'm thinking of. There's a bad pace between the story and the gameplay.
Yeah.
I mean, the story is good, but the thing is, being a fighting game, it's really like you go from a fight and then you get like an hour dump of story, and like, you know, I'm just sitting here reading all the story, and it's not that it sucks. It's just, you know,
and many stories are basically in the same area. So once you played it with the main character and then you play it as TA, you play the same. You play basically the same.
Yeah, with someone characters, there's a little weird.
Yeah.
Story stuff.
Yeah, and
then
some of the
joke ending more funny.
So
Chia's joke ending is hilarious.
I cannot remember. it was
It's
not my
funny.
game.
She abandons the mission to go fight. What was the white hair dude from Persona 3? They like have a fight of fighting for food. And then they like pass out and she wakes up back in the real world and everyone's like, did you really just abandon everything to go get food in another dimension?
You could branch the stories as well, right?
Kanji, Chie,
Yeah.
only a few Kyotos had
Yeah.
other endings.
Yeah.
I know Chie and Kanji had joke endings. There weren't a lot of them. There were only a few. Which makes me wonder if whether they had ones planned for everyone and they just didn't have time to get all implemented or not. I'm not sure. But there weren't a lot of them. There were only a few joke endings that branched from people's stories. But yeah.
The true Persona 3 and 4 games, they offer for me the most enjoyable turn-based battle system I've ever played. And of course, I'm a huge fan of the 3DS tactical, what was it, Devil Summoner or Devil Survivor on the 3DS? Devil Survivor.
The Survivor is the tactical game.
Way great games, man. Both of them.
You know what's funny is those weren't the first tactical games. The first one was on the Sega Saturn, and if I remember correctly, it was widely hated in Japan. I actually got that at was it the Florida convention? No, I think it was the second time I went to New York Comic Con. I got it. But I saw that at one of the shops, and I was like, "Oh, that's that Sega Sound Tactics game that everyone says is really bad." And like, I think it was like $10 or $15. I was like, "Oh, it's in good condition. It has everything." It's like, why the hell not?
Yeah,
I can play Saturn games on my Saturn. I have the cartridge to play the Japanese games, so maybe one day I'll screw around with it.
But those are really, I really played both from beginning to end. And
so wasn't your version of the Force Survival bugged?
Yeah, that's the Ghostlight version, the European Devil Devil Survivor Overclocked.
Yeah, there was some game breaking thing
Correct.
in the storyline, wasn't there?
With the fusing part, there was a game breaking with fusing, but we got a patch, so it's patched to 1.1, and there's no problem.
No, it sucks for anyone with no internet, though.
If you have no internet, then you have a really broken game.
Yeah, that's why I was always like, oh, that sucks way much for people with no way to download that patch.
Yeah, but with the 3DS, you can take it to the take it to the McDonald's, download the one. It's one megabyte. The patch
but the problem is when they shut down and you don't have access to that patch anymore.
Yeah. So
because it's on the system, not the cart. So
correct.
Unless you find a used system with the update on it, getting the cart's going to be kind of
But then we got Devil Survivor 2 last year, and that was not a Ghostlight release. I think that was an Atlas Sega.
Oh well,
NIS.
That's pretty well for y'all.
Yeah, Nipponichi stopped with Atlas games in Europe, by the way. But
when Sega bought them, I remember them saying something about like Sega wanted like it to be like super cheap, like so cheap that was like barely profitable or not profitable or something.
Yeah, they had to announce a fixed number of sales for Europe, and Nipponichi. Yeah, it's very hard to make a judgment of fixed numbers of sales. So that's why Nipponichi broke with Atlas, which is kind of.
I mean, like from my understanding, it had a lot to do with Sega's what they wanted with the numbers and such.
Yeah, there was something with the numbers. But at least we're getting. I don't know who brings Persona 5, I don't care, but it's coming.
I believe it was Deep Silver, if I remember correctly. I guess they went with the we'll do the lowest common. We'll do it.
Deep Silver of all companies. Oh my god.
Yeah, Deep's, and to be honest, I'm probably not surprised, to be honest, because I mean, if they're using the English translation Atlas themselves, though, it shouldn't be a complicated thing to move it over to just making it work on a European. But then again, I mean, that's the same thing the Survival was. It was just the Atlas translated
Yep.
version, as far as I understand.
Yeah.
Somehow that went haywire,
Yep.
so who knows? But yeah, I mean, Deep Silver was well in deep shit as far as I can see on the next Dead Island games and development hell, and they aside from publishing for other people, what have they actually even done?
Yeah, the days of what was it? Gothic 1 and 2, with Piranha Bytes and Deep Silver. Gothic 1 and 2, but for the rest, there's
Is
not
that
much.
even something they actually own?
I think they published Piranha Bytes.
See, that's what I said.
It.
Besides stuff they've published, because they publish a lot of stuff. They published Mighty Number 9 physically and such.
Yeah.
It's like they have all kinds of public. Oh wait, there was the Wii Master Dead Island. There was that. If we're gonna count that.
Oh my, that was horrible. After Dying Light was such an amazing game. I really wanted to try the Dead Island, but it doesn't even get close to Dying Light.
No, it's too easy. It's really easy.
Yeah.
At least the first one was. I can't speak for the spin-off or that Witchworld arcade thing, which I was interested in that Witchworld arcade thing until they showed full gameplay of it. Because when they showed screenshots, it looked like some kind of Streets of Rage kind of beat 'em up thing. And then when you see one in gameplay, it's a continuously scrolling game where you hit zombies incoming. Yeah. I'm like, oh, well, that was really misleading.
With tons of invisible walls and bugs. And the remastered edition is just the old game. They haven't remastered the thing, man.
Graphics.
Yeah.
Unless you want the better graphics, you just better off buying them for like $3 or getting them out of the dumpster at GameStop.
It's the same game, the same bugs, the same invisible walls.
I found quite a few of them in the GameStop dumpster. So I mean, if you're wanting to be a cheapskate, you can keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be more.
I'm being a cheapskate because most of my games I buy on G2A anyway. And that's so much price difference for Steam. It's seldom that I buy games on Steam anymore because the price difference is.
A lot of services that do a lot of key sales. You just gotta be careful with some of those that are user generated, because some of those people sometimes they're just selling their own keys they got through bundles.
Yep.
And sometimes it's people that somehow acquired them through. Because I mean, that's why some people try to hack Humble Bundle accounts. It's like, yes, gold mine, 200 keys.
Yeah, but you have an approval rating as well on G2A. So if somebody has sold 300,000 keys and their approval rating is 99%, that means 99% of the keys they have sold are working. So people, those people I trust, and you can also pay $3 or €3 for protection to G2A. That if the key does not work, they guarantee you will get a new key. But it's €3 on top of the price of the game, of course. But it's a guarantee that if the key does not work, they will make sure that you will get a good key from that reseller. So it's But for cheap games that are like Dark Souls 2, Schooler was €11. And if somebody has an approval rating of 99% and the price is €11,
there was a Namco Dark Souls bundle on Humble Bundle last year, so I'm sure there's a lot of keys floating. Like I from those kind of key selling sites, because there used to be it was 99 Gamers. That's what it was. It's defunct. It had this giant fucking Fallout / conspiracy shit that happened in the end of its life. But when it started, what it was is a giant trading and selling site that was supposed to be catered to gaming, and not to get into when its downfall, but that's the first time I ever saw like these kind of trading / reselling key kind of places. If there's something I ever noticed was anything that was in Humble bundles would just shoot up any of these sites that sell keys. Like they would just, because you'd get people, it's like, okay, here's a penny, thanks for those cheap 5 games there, and I'll get $1 off each of them.
Yeah, they break it up, they break the bundles up, and they sell the games individually.
Yep.
And but for me as well, the deal is great, because Scholar of the First Sin is €30 on Steam. €30, and I can buy it for 11 on G2A. Hey, I'm not gonna pay 30, so for me it's a good deal. And if they buy it in a bundle, okay, of course
I wouldn't blame you not paying that for 2 anyway. 2, I'd still say is the easiest and probably the least interesting out of all of them. I mean, it's not horrible. It's just, I would say if I had to pick the worst out of all of them, I'd go with it.
Many people would. Yeah. I think
it's pretty common. Not a lot of people like Huey. There's one YouTuber I watch. He always makes fun of Huey. Damn it, Huey!
Who is Huey?
Huey was the director for 2. I'm pretty sure I told you that before, but I can understand you wouldn't remember. That's the only reason I remember his name, is because he always refers to him Huey.
I only know Michi something worked on 1 and 3 and not on 2. Michi Shio, whatever his name is. Even that is wrong, right? Yeah. And he worked on Bloodborne.
See, the original. See, his name. Let's see. It's Huey. So I think he's making fun of him when he calls him Huey.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm just mistaking his Y for a W. H. Yeah. But yeah,
it's something. Go ahead.
But yeah, the original Cradle only helped as a like a producer or something. But Huey, Wooey, whatever. He was basically one of the lead directors for 2, and supposedly it's believed that the original Cradle was working on Bloodborne during 2.
Yeah.
So.
But Dark Souls 2, it is very different than. It's not very different, but it's very different than 1. I think lore-wise, Dark Souls 2 is a joke. I don't think there is 10% of lore which can be found in Dark Souls 1. Now the lore is for Dark Souls game, the lore is told in very small bits anyway.
You get a huge chunk of it from items. That's why. That's what I find interesting about how the exploring works. If you're interested in the lore, you want to find items, and finding new items leads to new lore, and to find new items, you need to explore. So you're encouraged to explore to find more lore.
Yeah.
Hey, that kind of rhymed.
Yeah. But Dark Souls 2 has less. It has less lore. But to my opinion...
Yeah, because it uses a lot of references towards past stuff and not really adds a lot, in my opinion.
And... There's an area, Hunt Corpse. Huntman Corpse.
Yeah, Huntsman's Corpse.
There's no lore, but when I read a Wikipedia page on Huntman's lore, there I could find what's the area used. It was an undead hunting ground.
Yes, there was several armor pieces from because there's a lot more. There's a lot more drop stuff into. That's definitely something I would say. There's a lot of gear you can get from mobs that drop, and of course that has lore. And one of the armor sets will tell you how the hollows you meet there were either prisoners or hunters.
Yeah.
And I think it's like so far gone in the past that they don't even remember who's hunting who or anything. But yeah, basically the boss of that area's soul would tell you a little bit of that area if you didn't find any of the gear sets or garments, drops or anything. But yeah, I mean, sadly, when it comes to wanting to learn everything, you have to get to either look them up or get those drops from some of the unique enemies. And because unless you join the one covenant, you'll make enemies permanently stop despawning because of the system they did in 2, which thank goodness they didn't do that in 3. Because to be honest, I don't really like that system, but I kind of get the idea of what I think that would have been a system that'd be interesting to turn on and off.
You
Like have,
you mean the covenant where every enemy does more damage and you do less damage? That covenant? Or?
It makes it where you can't summon people, more likely to be invaded.
Yeah.
I think I don't remember if it modified enemy damage. But yeah, it basically made it where you're playing in solo mode, more likely to be invaded, mortared. But yeah, if you're in that covenant, one of the patches made it, well, it also stops enemies from permanently despawning because for the most part, basically, if you kill the same enemy like 10 times,
Yeah.
it's somewhere around there, it like stops spawning.
Does have its advantages, I must add, because there was this boss in that Bastille, those 3 sentinels, and I had to go through that building. I didn't know about that shortcut then, so I had to go through that building where 4 of those. You meet all those guardsmen, man. But they come in groups of 4 and 3, and I got killed so many times there. I didn't reach the boss over and over, but then at a point they stopped spawning, and I was like, yeah, thank God you stopped spawning because otherwise I could never reach this boss, man. It's yeah.
Well, I guess you enjoyed the feature more. See, like I said, I think that'd be like I'm not necessarily saying it's something where it depends on the player. You know, it could be a positive or negative. I think that would have been an interesting on and off kind of thing for a player to choose.
Maybe on and off, because if you want to farm some
because I mean, like imagine
if
you sucked as much as Phil and you killed everything, and you're not putting your soul sign to be summoned by people, or if you have no Iona, you don't even have and everything's dead, and you need souls to progress. So you're literally in a situation where you better get good or restart.
Yep. There's no option then anymore to farm souls.
It's like, like, well, you better make do with what you do because you're not getting any further then.
But you cannot overfarm this way. I like the balancing of Dark Souls 2 more than the balancing of Dark Souls 1. I think Dark Souls 1 could be overfarmed. Dark Souls 2 maybe as well, but it's not.
Basically, as long as you're playing online, you can always overfarm as much as you want.
Yeah, but I think Dark Souls 1 was easier to overfarm, or quicker, or something. And of course,
because the soul memory in 2 makes it where you can't stay like I could go to like level 15 and then just stick around the gargoyles and get hundreds of summons from new people.
Yeah.
But in Dark Souls 2, you're always progressing through the ranks, even though you're not leveling up because you're getting all those souls. So you'll start distancing from those new people summoning you for that fight, and you'll either find no one or very rarely somebody who somehow reached the soul memory you're at, grasping at you.
So like you said, invest those points as soon as you can.
Oh yeah, that's definitely the thing. Like my original character would not work in PvP because for a good chunk of the launch, nobody understood how summoning was how the range worked. Everyone thought it was either a mix of memory and level or just level, because a lot of people were confused until there was a fine, detailed explanation, and then people, figured out all the wanks and brackets and shit for the distance and then how the wings affect that, because there's several wings that can affect who you connect to, and all the PvP have different ranges. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, my original Kyoto, I invested a lot of shit into range and throwable items versus leveling. So if I was to like connect to people who are making PvP builds, and they're investing probably all that shit in the levels, I'm probably connecting to people probably like 100 levels above me,
Yes.
just
Yep.
because the soul memory matches them.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh shit. So yeah, I definitely recommend doing a lot of more leveling in
Mm-hmm.
2, because the only thing, the only way you can control it was a wing they added into the game. The sorcerer in the prison sells it. It absorbs the souls, so they don't go to your soul memory, but then you get no progression. So unless you're either playing with a friend, so you can do that to
Ah.
stay near each other, or
Yeah.
you're like, okay, I want to stop here. I don't want to progress anymore. I want to stay in this bracket of soul memory. Wing on, never off.
Yeah. Now that makes sense why that ring is in the game.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's so you
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
control where you
Yeah.
are,
Yeah.
because you had PvP people basically hate the PvP because of it. Because a common thing in all the other games is to fine tune. You pick a playstyle, pick a level bracket you want to be in. Like in Dark Souls 1, you have low level people who just like fighting low level people. You have troll people who like bringing high powered shit to low levels. People who want even matches, uneven matches. Like people go to the forest, like Old Bolo. He goes to the forest and he'll have like 3-on-1 matches with fucking people. It's like, bring it on! Like you have all kinds of different tastes
Yeah.
of how to make a build and who you want to connect with,
Yeah.
and you have no control until that wing was introduced. You had no control because you everything you kill gives you souls,
Yeah.
so you would always move forward in the brackets.
Yeah.
So
And if I
so
get
you
the problem is as well, I'm not so good at this game, so I get killed quite a lot
Yeah,
through
and
the game.
that's pushing you forward
Yeah.
to more likely higher level people
Yeah.
who want to kill you.
I yeah, no,
But on
exactly.
the bright side, you get those higher level people to summon into your world too. Wink, wink.
Yeah, true, but they probably are not fighting the same boss as I am because they are
Indeed, when you get
way
really
further.
high, it
Yeah.
gets really, because you going into New Game Plus. A lot of people don't go very New Game Plus outside trophy hunting, but there is a crowd there. And you have two essential crowds. Ones that want to lock down in a specific bracket. Like I
Uh-huh.
said, in most of the other games, it's like 120 usually.
Yeah.
But in Dark Souls 2, you don't have that. You have the memory,
Yeah.
which, as far as I know, never got settled memory. So you're kind of like everywhere after you start over leveling into the new game pluses and 2. So you really don't know what the fuck you're gonna meet where.
Hmm.
It's like you might find someone here, and you might find them at Vendrick's Castle.
Yep.
It's hard to say because you got people who like the lockdown at a certain point, but keep going. Like I've seen like Obolo. I can't remember what level. I think they did 200 level 200 builds. Him and his friend, and they went to New Game Plus 8, and then there's a thing you can do in the PC version where you can make yourself the world feel like it's. Did I ever explain what grave lording was? I know it happened to you, and I told you it doesn't work unless you're in New Game Plus. But did I ever explain what it was?
I do not recall.
When you get grave lorded outside of your first playthrough, it causes red phantoms of enemies in that area that appear, thus making it harder. there was some kind of mod or something you can do to make the game think you're grave lorded. So they made all the areas have all the red phantoms spawn, and then they also made the aggro range bigger, so they would they would sense them from farther distance. And man, it was like crazy. They never finished that either. It was a hilarious playthrough though. I think they went to Orlando and stopped there. I can't remember. But it was some hilarious shit in New Game Plus 8. Like Bright Town was hilarious. When they got to the ground floor, all those fat dudes were all the way running for them. They're like, "Oh God, they're all the way coming! Cave! Go to the cave! For the life of God, go to the cave!"
That must have
That
been,
was loud.
that must
It was
have been
funny. It's
yeah.
And they're in the back of the cave, and all the fat dudes are running at the bars. And I'm like, oh God, so funny. The painted guardians on the rooftop were funny too. They all like fell to their deaths, if I remember quickly, before they even got into the chapel.
Yeah.
It's like, ah! It's like, why are we getting all these
Free souls,
Like, oh.
yeah.
It's like, oh, that's why they all fell to their deaths.
They already.
It was funny. I'll have to link it to you if you want to see it. But
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, I mean, you got those kind of people who want to continue to challenge but stop their progression, and that's really strange in Dark Souls 2 because of the memory system versus just a simple level.
Yep.
Because, your level in the memory can be completely different on all kinds of different characters. You could be level 20 and have 2 million soul memory if you wanted.
Yeah.
So it's just all weird in that regard, but I probably went on too much on this.
No, but it's got its ups and it's got its good things. On paper, it's good.
Yeah.
But if I if I die with 27k souls only, they count as soul memory.
Soul memory.
Yeah, they should have made it then. If I invest them in leveling up, or if I invest them in goods from a merchant, that would change it already a bit.
That could have made it better. I agree. That probably would have made it a lot better.
So I have
Dark Souls 2 was a lot of ideas of criticisms with the Force game. I like to think of it was them taking the casual point of view. It's like, how can we make this more open for these people?
So I have no problem now investing my souls into my level, because my souls have already been.
There's no point.
No, there's no point in not leveling up, because those points are already in my soul memory. So just alright, just another level, because I'm not matched by level now. So alright,
exactly.
Level.
See, that's why when it was figured out, I was like level 50 or 60, but I had spent unimaginable souls on max bombs and like magic yawns and things, like unimaginable amounts of money of souls. I was like, oh, so that means I've actually been staying low level. It's actually making the game hard. Oh,
yes. Yep. Yeah. And another thing from Dark Souls 2 is the leveling up system. Dark Souls 1, to my opinion, you level up quite fast. But Dark Souls 2 does that even in the overdrive. The leveling up in Dark Souls 2 is overdrive from Dark Souls 1. But I don't like how they made the stats more diverse. I mean, in Dark Souls 1, if I boost my endurance,
there was
I get stamina from endurance, I get payload from endurance, I get bleed resistance from endurance. But now in Dark Souls 2, I need to boost a stat for carrying load. I need to boost another stat for stamina. It's more. I need to boost more stats. It's more. I think I like Dark Souls 1 more, in which carrying weight and stamina was all in endurance, and vitality was.
See, the idea is they were trying to make it harder to make. A common problem in Dark Souls 1 was Havel builds were like I mean, they nerfed like the Father of the Mask because it made Havel builds like so much easier to make. I think the idea they wanted was to make it where you were investing more into a decision, and
Mm-hmm.
like you couldn't get so many benefits from one decision. You had to make it more. It had to be a more picky your choice. You had to think about your choices better than be like, oh well, I'll just get everything I need from here.
Yeah.
But I do remember people who like dexterity thief builds. I remember they hurt those a lot more in Dark Souls 2 because the stats they needed got busted up more from that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's I I think it was more of a PvP related thing they were trying to do there to try and break up some types of builds that were a lot more common in Dark Souls 1.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think that was the idea. Like I said, there was a lot of experimental things in 2.
Yeah,
It's just it's
but
very
it's
opinion.
yeah, but it's definitely not a bad game. To my opinion, the boss fights are really good. No, there
Wish the
are
boss weapons were though.
yeah, there are no phases of bosses. I know, like in Dark
There's
Souls,
too many great swords.
but these boss fights, they include me needing to fight, and to my opinion, in Dark Souls 1, a couple of boss fights are just, I don't know. I like the Kappa Demon. I like the first boss, the tutorial boss. Those are the bosses you
Yeah.
really need to fight and to dodge and to learn. But some boss fights in Dark Souls 1 are just, yeah, I don't know. But Dark Souls 2, I think the boss fights are cool. Really, really, I really like them. Like I said, yeah, they don't have the phases like they do in what I heard in Dark Souls 3. That if you defeat a boss to
Yeah,
50%,
3
they
has a lot of phase bosses in 3.
yeah,
That's
that
indeed true.
sounds so awesome. But then again, 3 does have less bosses again than Dark Souls 2 does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my favorite boss in 3 was definitely the Ye So Pointy Hats. But the Abyss Watchers in 3 were very awesome. I love the music. I'll have to link you the song. It's very epic. It's definitely one of my favorite boss fights. I liked a lot of the music in 3, actually. A lot of it made a lot of the boss fights. I wish one particular one, I won't mention it because if I mention it, then
Yeah,
you'll be
we
like,
should.
"Oh, this is disappointing." So I don't
Yeah,
I
I
don't want
want.
to mention who it was, but there was one I was expecting to be really epic. The music certainly makes it sound like it, but it sadly isn't. It's a real shame because the story related to it is really kind of sad when you know the context of what's going on with it. But I mean, yeah, it does have a lot of bosses, and it has a lot less secret bosses too. I mean, the one that's really well hidden. I mean, like literally, the only way I knew it was though, like it was a message. There was a message. If I remember quickly, the spot where you have to be, there was a message that said to do a pose, and I was like, I'll remember that in the future. And then I got a pose, and I was like, oh, the name kind of reminded me of the spot. I was like, ooh, I'm going to go back there. And it's like, oh, if it wasn't for that, I probably would never found
Never.
that
Yeah.
aside from
Yeah.
looking it up.
Hmm.
So definitely recommend checking it out. I don't know, that boss might be for you, though. That is. But then again, I was 47. I stuck there. I didn't level up. Maybe if you over level, yeah, you'd eventually make him easier. But very, very satisfying feeling. Even it was 3 people versus him. But in 3 it's scaled when
Yeah.
you use the passport, so they were
Yeah.
scaled down
That's
to
awesome.
47 with the stuff.
That
Yeah, the scaling
is
from Bloodborne was a
awesome.
very smart idea.
Yeah.
It works very nice in Dark Souls 3.
Yeah. I think
But
that's
yeah,
a great addition to the game. So then,
And he is considered the hardest boss in Dark Souls 3. So I'm pretty satisfied that a team of 3 people at 47 scaling kicked his ass.
Yeah.
After a lot of tries.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of tries and very expensive lightning arrows. Well, crossbolts, actually. Very expensive.
Yeah, sometimes.
But that would go into detail about it. I don't want to
Mm.
spoil that. That's very, very epicness, though. I wouldn't want to spoil that. Definitely one of my favorite bosses, too, though. But that has a lot to do with the story reason, which anyone who played Dark Souls 3 probably doesn't need explaining why. And don't say it in the comments. I don't want it spoiled for Carter.
Nope.
Oh, destroy it.
I won't read the comments.
Now watch somebody do it.
I will read the comments, of course. But the music as well in 1 is much better than in 2.
Yeah, 2 didn't have a lot of good music.
No.
Some of the DLC stuff's really cool, though. The base game, though, yeah.
Well, the DLC is quite a couple of
I can't really
areas.
think of any good music from 2, actually, off the top of my head.
No, just the one in the town is a little bit is okay.
It's peaceful.
Yeah.
I meant more like in the action-y sense.
Oh, I'm more the peaceful guy.
But yeah, I mean the town. Yeah, Majula's theme's nice
Mhm.
and peaceful,
Mhm.
calming. That's actually something I really liked it into. I mean, you still had a little kind of a hub thing with FileLink, but not too many people went to it.
No.
You had a lot more of a town hubby feel in 2's Majula that felt a lot more reminiscent of Demon Souls because that lots of NPCs gathered there. And
yeah.
So
it's not just.
I think that was a nice add.
It's not just a bonfire and some walls.
It feels
it's
lively.
really a town.
It's building up.
Yeah, it is building
And at least
up.
everyone doesn't go crazy.
Nope. No.
I mean, that's the sad thing about 1. Like, pretty much if you don't do anything for anyone, or hell, even doing stuff for some of them, everyone pretty much dies.
Yeah. They kill the fire. Yeah, no, they're not going to spoil anything, but yeah, true. What's more different? Yeah, the areas themselves, of course. What I liked in 1 was Anno Londo was one of my painted world. I think very amazing. The first area was quite amazing. And Dark Souls 2, the areas, they are still good. They are still good. Yeah.
I like the layout of the enemy placement in the Skull of the Force Sin version, which, just to note, as far as I remember, PS4, Xbox One, and the secondary version on PC have that placement.
Yeah.
The PS3 and 360 do not.
No.
So even if you buy the Skull of the Sin version for the previous gen, they do not have that done placement of certain enemies. I like the placement of enemies a lot in the PS4 Skull of the Sin version. Though I find actually I should look this up at this because I actually meant to do it and I never did. There's one enemy I never saw in the Skull of the Force Sin version for PS4. In the original version, when you went towards the Sinnoh, there were these things in the water part. What they were was questionable, but they were noted for dropping the Bellkeeper shield and the Bellkeeper bow. I never saw them anywhere except for one that was decoration in the cage in the in this one place where there's a lot of things hanging off the ceiling. I saw one in that, but like you can't interact with those. So I was like, where did they put the thing? How do you get the Bellkeeper shield and bow then?
Yeah.
They were the only way of getting it in the original game. You tell me it doesn't exist anymore?
Probably somewhere else, or I don't know.
I literally could not find them. I mean, for the most part, I did most of everything again. I mean, the playthrough was mainly to focus on doing the DLCs, but I did the base game too. Because, I mean, the enemy layout was changed. As far as I understand, the DLC enemy placement was not changed. Supposedly those are the same in all of them. But it's just the base game enemy layout that was changed.
Yeah.
So, obviously, I wanted to re-experience some of the new trolling, and that was fun. There was two of them I nimble. I was like, oh, I bet they just did that to fuck with the original people who played.
Well, it is kind of nice. You're playing the same game, but
Yeah, it's a new experience.
Yeah. It's the same, but it's new because you expect in your mind, your memory still says, okay, there's an enemy behind this corner, and then that enemy is there, but there are two.
Yeah, because like at Hyde's Tower, have you fought any of the Hyde Knights?
Yes. Yeah.
In Hyde's Tower, they're all over the place and they respawn.
Yeah.
In the original game, they were one-time spawn in certain locations. They would just be sitting somewhere. You could completely ignore them or kill them, but if you killed them, that one didn't respawn. And any drops they had, if you didn't get one, like the black, they were essentially like the Black Knights of Dark Souls 1.
Mm-hmm.
They were scattered everywhere, and they were one-time spawns that could drop something.
Yeah, there is one in the base in the old Bastille, but that isn't in the schooler, and he used to drop a spear. But they are indeed now at the Hindes, but they are a pain in the ass,
there's
man.
a lot of them in Hyde's Tower, and they do respawn.
They are really a pain in the behind.
Oh yeah. See why I really like the Dawson is because their armor set is locked in the original game. You can't get it in a normal game one. It has to be New Game Plus to get them as drops. So I was like, oh, you bastards.
The normal Heide set?
The armor set.
Yeah.
The armor set you can't get in a normal game. I can't remember if you can use a bonfire aesthetic. I don't remember if you can use one to get, but I know you can't get on the original game thing at least. I'm not sure about a bonfire aesthetic, but it's either that or New Game Plus in the original game. But in the Skull of the Force Sin for the next gen stuff, they can drop the armor set. I was like, yay, I can get my bucket head.
Yes, you can.
My bucket head.
But for me, they stopped respawning in Heide now. I think I found
them.
Like
I said, if you're not part of that
over
covenant,
the limit,
they still... Yeah.
I all killed them all. That they give so good XP, 700 or something for each kill. Or souls, and but they are really a pain to fight. They are very quick.
Oh yeah,
very agile.
They're very aggressive.
Yeah,
very aggressive.
They are not like hitting you and then standing around looking at you and like, okay, let's hit it. No, they are really fast hitters.
They're very trollish in their movement. Like it's like, oh, is he got? Oh, wait, well,
yeah.
What are they doing?
So for me, a spear against them worked best. Because I was able to hit them without lowering my shields because they know when to hit, man. If you attack, they hit. So, but yeah, the downside of spear is it costs so much stamina, and that's another thing I wanted to mention. The balancing in two, to my opinion, there is no Drake sword. There is no Black Knight's halberd like. When you watch DSP go through...
well, if you know where to go...
Yeah, it's still different.
You know where to go, but... I would say they're not as overpowered, but... Yeah. Like, for example, do you know the crows in 2? Do you know how they walk?
The what?
The crows. Did you never mess with the crow in the first one? There was crows in all of them.
Yeah, give me Silky.
Yeah. The ones in 2 are in the tutorial area.
Yeah. I always drop the silk stones in their nest.
Yes. Mm-hmm. If you drop a smooth stone, there's a bracket system for their loot. The lower tier of the item, the lower the bracket. The higher tier has access to everything up and below. The smooth stone is the highest item.
Yeah.
And it gives you access to some weapons like the Chancellor's Triton from Dark Souls 1, the Demon Hammer from Dark Souls 1. If you get lucky, because you can pick a smooth stone as a gift, and you get lucky on what the quote gives you, well, there's an overpowered weapon.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like, so if you know what you're doing, you can still get some. But yeah, I would say it's probably not as easy as getting a bow and 500 arrows and shooting a tail. Though I did miss the tail
Yeah.
thing. They never
Oh.
brought that back, cutting off tails. That was kind of a
Mhm.
sad mechanic. See go, it never came back in any form. It's a bit of a shame because it encouraged you to be like, do I want to fight the boss, just be safe, or do I want to try and get that whisking that tail, but maybe die? It's like, what could it be? I just wanted the Moonlight Great Swords, all I needed.
Yeah, and in 2, I like that the fire longsword. It basically feels like Drake's sword, but it's not that
Yeah, the
over.
fire longsword. If I was going to compare something to the Drake sword, it's the
Mhm.
fire longsword. And I'll admit, even I get, but the difference is at least it scales with you, so it actually is
Yeah.
valuable. Unlike the Drake sword, by the time you get to Blight Town, it's pretty much dead.
Yeah.
And like I explained, dragon weapons don't scale. So when you go to New Game Plus material, they're just auto broken, basically.
Yeah. But the fire longsword doesn't feel as game breaking as Drake's sword did.
Well, that's because it's just a longsword on fire.
Yeah.
It has fire enchantment,
Yeah.
so I mean it's a normal weapon.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
you don't get, especially in the original game. And they moved it in the Skull of the Fourth Sin because essentially players didn't have the ability to put magic, fire, and stuff on their weapons until they got to the Iron Keep in the base game, which
Mhm.
is where the I'm not sure how far you're into, so
I am now at the front of Iron Keep, so I still have to go inside. So
uh,
that's the point where I'm basically am at now. I'm now working on the. I jumped down that well in the beginning town to go to the some graveyard.
oh yeah, I uh, trying to understand the falling mechanics in 2 was just, oh my god. It's like, can I live now? Nope. Can I live now? Nope.
Yeah,
Can I
yeah,
live
yeah,
now? Nope.
yeah,
Go naked, put Catwing on. Can I live
yeah.
now? Ah, yay! Finally.
Can go naked, and I bought a ladder from somebody who was sitting next to the well. He had ladders selling for 12,000 souls, but I bought the cheap ass version, the 500 souls.
I bet that was a surprise. Woo!
Just it was just
I'm
barely enough.
killing you when I waste
Well, he said to me, "You are really a cheapskate," but it did work. I managed to survive the first jump, but it was.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, even though it is a fall,
Mhm.
it's supposed to make it where it's more likely you're gonna survive versus without it.
Yeah.
Still, it's just funny. It's like, I'll be back and you'll regret it, you fuckhead.
Yeah.
But yes, the more expensive ones actually safely take you to places.
Mhm.
One of them specifically, if you're playing the next gen version, because I know you're playing on PC, so if you're playing the one with the rearranged stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
in the rearranged one, the DLC items are actually in the world. In the original version, you purchase the DLC, then
Of
oh look,
course.
I
Yeah.
magically got this thing that gives me access to
Yeah.
it. But they actually implement them into the world. So I remember one of them is in a door. There's a little extra door that has some chests. They put it on a corpse in that room, so that's where one of the DLC item keys are. So you want to try to get that. I don't remember which ladder, but one of the ladders makes it easier to get to that door because
Ah.
it has a bunch of wood blocking a lot of it, so it's really
Yep.
hard to
Yep.
get in it. But and I liked it that. That's because I mean it's like, oh look, I got a dragon claw thing. I don't know where it came out of. It probably just pulled out my ass when I woke up. Okay, let's go to this new place. So
But
I think it's a lot nicer. You can find them in the world. It feels more organic.
yeah, like part of part of the game. But like you were
Exactly.
mentioning, to have elementals on your sword, now you can do it at MacGuff in the Lost Bastillion.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
believe. Yeah,
yeah.
they put it in a random chest they put by the bonfire after the pursuer, right?
Mm,
When you take the board, I believe it's
yeah,
at that bonfire.
a dull ember. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So they made it way earlier. Because I mean, like Iron Keep's like half the game. It's like a midpoint. So it's like, wow, I couldn't do jack shit for half the game to any because it's the only emblem. Unlike the original game where you had different emblems you would find through the
yep,
progression of the game.
yep,
I mean, like for example, the divine emblem, you can get that essentially right at the beginning of the game without even fighting the gargoyles. Go past Andre, go in the forest, go kill the moonlight butterfly, boom. You have a divine emblem right there.
yep.
It's all way, boom, bam, sneem.
And the fire one in the demon area. Yeah, that it
Yeah,
was quite
they
well
were
placed.
progressionable.
Yeah,
There was no progression. It was just you got here, you get that access.
yeah,
So I think the move was a lot better for the newer version. I think it's because a common problem was this people just didn't really invest into elemental weapons as much in the base game and two because for one thing it's at the midpoint and second thing it's in a random spot. It's very easy to miss. You have
correct.
to I would assume you have no idea what it is because you're not playing that version, but you had to make a jump, get to a building that isn't required. It's a small area. It's covered in archers, so it's more like, yeah, I'm not going near there. I'm just gonna go this way to the boss, and you had to get in there, kill all of them, and then you had to get to a little platform. If I remember, I can't remember if it was just down that says broken stairs or if you had to jump. I could have swore it's on a broken set of stairs, but like there's a part of it broken. You had to jump towards it. I can't remember 100%. I might be misremembering that, but either way, you had to get there to get it, and it's like you could, just completely either miss it, not notice it, so you could go through the rest of the game not having it. So it was,
Yeah, yeah. I think that the plus to make your weapons go to plus 15. I would never. I missed that, man. I if I didn't look it up, I would have missed that ember. Then plus 10 would have been the max in Dark Souls 1 for me. For normal weapons, that is.
yeah,
I would have missed the plus 15 upgrade ember to upgrade my weapons further to 11, 12, and to 15.
yeah.
That ember was in the, how's it called, that area with the water. You have to flood the
I believe
water.
it's in the depths near the butcher in the chest, if I remember correctly.
No, where you have to get rid of the water. One of the last areas. Yeah, towards the depths. Wasn't no? Yeah, no. Was it called depths? No, where the magician was on top. You get his something, and then you can flood the water. Oh, also one of the last areas.
What do I?
Firelink, you go down, and then with the elevator down.
Oh, New Londo.
Yeah. The lower side of New Londo. There it was hidden somewhere. Yeah. There was the plus 15 ember.
I don't remember.
No
I thought
problem.
the large ember was for that, but I don't remember. It's been so long.
Yeah.
There's so many embers. Back in my day, after I finished the game, they made it all one ember, so confusing DSP people didn't have to think.
Nope. Yeah, and
I'm
DSP.
pressing embers.
And basically, he isn't so bad. It is funny to watch
His original Dark Souls 1 is horrible. Everything after is more okay.
Yeah.
I will give it to him.
Yeah.
From 2 and on, he learned a lot more, but at the same time, he keeps forgetting everything at the start of each one and relearning everything. It's like, come on, you really don't remember that at all.
No, he doesn't.
You're on Dark Souls 3. You played demons, Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, and Bloodborne, and you literally can't win them with something that's in all the fucking games, that works the same way in all the fucking games.
Yeah.
You can't win them with at all, even a minor bit.
Mm-hmm. It's just the only thing that's changed is the jumping. It's not through the circle now in 2, but I have to click on the left.
I really preferred the clicking the analog. It made it a lot for me.
Yeah.
I know there's a big debate of people who don't like it, and that's why I think it's good that it's an option.
Yeah, you can switch back.
Pick which one.
Yeah.
Because I find, because sometimes when I use the O1, sometimes instead I'll just roll and whoop. Oh, guess we're running back here.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
So I find the analog stick way more reliable. So and they took that out because it's not in Bloodborne. It is in 3, but it's not in Bloodborne. I was like, no. I was so happy it was in 3 again now. I was like, oh man, it's like now it's back to the maybe like what? Luckily there ain't too many instances of doing that in Bloodborne, but there are still. Oh look, there's something down there, and I either jump or miss or die horribly.
Yep.
But it could be something really good.
Yeah.
But then it could also be patches as trash.
Yeah.
Oh, you a cleric or something?
And then you get rubbish. Yeah. That's also that's great fun. But DSP here, like he's doing Dark Souls 2, he did defeat the 3 sentinels by himself. He didn't call for summons.
For the most part, I think there was a few times where he accidentally did it, like later in 2. I think he did it for a part. It's way later in the game, but I think he did it for one boss, which is just 2 of an early boss that you fight. I think he did, supposedly, at least he claims by accident. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, he did most of the games. By himself.
Yeah. And then
but still, the bitching.
Yeah, it's always the game. It's always the game. And
exactly.
I'm blocking. I'm blocking. Man. And then he shows the controller to his camera. I'm blocking. He didn't block.
I love this one part. Somebody literally, like, it was in the This Is How You Don't Play, where he's in Orlando and he got invaded with summons, and he got backstabbed, and he claimed that he had his shield up and he was facing them, and then it like slows it down when he shows it. It's like you can clearly see he faced away, showed his back completely, and got a sword shoved up his wheel end. And it's like that happens so much to him, and it's like, no, I was doing it totally. Sometimes I wonder, like, I wish I knew somebody who was like an eye doctor, but because I seriously swear, like, can human eyes, like, I know the big debate with like flames is like, where's the limit of the human eye? Because older research believed it was 30 flames, and then you got newer research that says like it's up to like 120 flames, and there's big debate. But there's some people that say like certain eyes, like people's eyes, like this person can see like 40 flames, and then it's kind of weird that varying on the person's eyes condition. And it's like, I wonder if like Phil can only see like 20 or 15 flames or something. Like his is like backwards, where it's worse instead of a certain degree between 30 to 120. Like his is worse. Like it's like he didn't see all those flames of him with his back to the enemy or something. Like I seriously wonder if that's what's wrong with him, because he makes so many outrageous claims where you can clearly slow it down or see that what he's claiming is completely wrong.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like, I really wish I knew somebody who was a professional eye doctor, because I seriously wonder if that's a thing. I've never had any luck looking it up before, because I honestly wonder if that's Phil's problem.
Well, in his mind, he was blocking and facing him, but in the actuality, in actual he wasn't.
Yeah, he could just be in denial. I mean, that's a possibility. But I I mean, you're either such a freaking narcissist to be that much denial, or he's just for some reason like he literally has a slow visual range or something. I just don't know. It's like I remember when I first discovered him, and Aaron like would say like you have a like weird like obsession with how bad this guy is. It's like, and the thing is with me, like with stuff I don't understand, it drives me crazy. So I'm really thinking here, like I don't understand how this person even lives. Like I remember Slow Beef. You probably never heard of him either. He was like what like to Phil. He's like the original detractor. Slow Beef did a video where he asked people to submit like real life what Phil did this, and I'll have to link you that one too. Like I remember this guy's like trying to open his car doors. It's like, why won't it open? Or no, guys trying to cook some food. It's like it's not cooking right. The manual didn't tell me I had to turn it on. It didn't say I had to do this. What the fuck?
Yeah.
It didn't say anything about this. It's just doing, things you would think are just so simple in real life, and just applying what he says to video games to it. It's like that's like how I was like thinking. It's like, how does this guy function in a life? Like how? Like is this real? Like is this the greatest? Slow Beef has a conspiracy theory where he believes that it may be possible Phil is unpurposely trolling people. I don't think he believes that so much anymore, but back in the earlier days, he's like, Phil is a dumbass or the greatest genius ever, and I don't know.
I think the first. I think that.
I think it's pretty obvious he's a dumbass at this point.
Yeah.
You gotta keep in mind this was like, I mean, hell, when was Dark Souls 1? Wikipedia, can you help me in this, please? Dark Souls 1 in 2011. So, this was quite a few years ago before he's started so much. Because, I mean, he didn't have, like, Fred Fox and all these people making This Is How You Don't Plays and having the Sons of Kojima and the Kojima World War. All this stuff did not exist. This stuff did not exist when he made this theory.
No.
I don't think he, I mean, even just recently, he did like a 11-minute video talking about Phil being fired from Mishima. It was about why he thinks it might have happened. I don't think he believes that anymore at this point. It was just, in an older time before he became so, like, it's amazing how every year he's became such a worse individual human being, honestly. Like, you go backwards in time, it's like, it's kind of sad to think, like, in 2008, he used to be more of a human person. Now he's like this panhandler on the streets, just constantly be like, Patreon, Patreon.
Yeah. But it's also a feel-good channel, because when I see him play, I sometimes I'm like, hey, I'm not so bad at all. It's also.
Oh, you look at it and be like, well, I'm glad I suck that much.
Yeah, so I'm still quite okay, But something I noticed, he was doing that skeleton chariot. The skeleton chariot fight in Dark Souls 2.
That's an interesting fight when you first do it, but after you know how to do it, it's one of those things where it's just, this is easy.
But he knew he must have read the strategy guide or something, because
there's so many
he knew the
theories
tricks
on shit. It's like someone told him that when he did his redemption one. Like there was a Twitter conversation because he never went to Ash Lake in his original playthrough, and somebody's like, "Do you know about this place?" It was a clip. And he's like, no, I never saw that dragon. Then when you watch the actual redemption one part, he like totally asks. I do believe I remember mentioning it to you, because you then went like, oh, the hitting of the wall. It's like, I accidentally swung my sword. Oh, I swung it again.
I hit the wall. What?
What?
He's so a bad actor.
What?
Yeah,
Holy
yeah,
shit! And he does it again.
yeah.
Like I couldn't even. I would never believe Phil would ever think of that a second time.
Yeah.
It's like Phil is not the guy I would ever imagine being like, you know what?
This is general. No,
Why you
no.
motherfucker?
Yeah, yeah. This is not genuine. This is really that was really acted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it does amaze me. Like, and like the claim that he supposedly either found some of these things or remembered some of these things. I can't remember an example off the top of my head. I remember there was something he was fighting and it was taking forever to remember what to do, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I
But then
remember.
there's all this simple shit, basic gameplay mechanics though, in all the games. Can't remember any of that shit.
Yeah.
But it's like all of a sudden I remember this one thing, this trick to this one enemy or boss or whatever the hell it was. Just I remember that, but all the basic shit about how the game works, that
Nope.
like just watching the beginning of it is like, oh my goodness, come on, man! You even played this game once. I get it's been a long time. I'll be fair on that, but my goodness, wouldn't you think you would remember some of this shit?
Yeah. Yeah, he was playing the carrier.
Especially considering how much time he spent doing it.
He was doing the carrier fight, and hey, there's a switch over there. What will it do? I'm like, oh my god, man, come on. He already read the strategy. I really didn't know, but when I fought that carrier boss, I have it switched to Twitch, so I still have that video. I did the first run. I didn't have a clue, man. It was like, wow, that carrier is as wide as a corridor.
I don't honestly remember what I did the first time.
Well, I died the first time.
I'd have to go watch.
The second try, I went into a niche. The only problem was the respawning skeletons. They were, but they stopped when you kill the necromancer, so that was okay.
Yes.
And I just every run that the carrier made, I took my bow. I was just with my bow, and every run I was able to hit him twice with my bow. So
I want to mention this because you probably don't know. Did you know there's a completely unique, different way you can kill the chariot boss?
Well, I know now with the switch, you can lower that gate. That I seen at Phil.
That's the common way. That's the common way where you break the chariot and you kill the horse.
Is that common?
But the way that most people don't know is if you kill him like what you were doing, shooting an arrow. Don't tell me you did that. You did that.
Yeah, I
did
shot
you
him with
do that?
I shot him with the arrow each time 2 times, so it was like 15 minutes, and then he stopped.
Did you literally do the second way where he dies, where he gets stuck at the cliff and you just
Yes.
funk it and fall?
Yes.
Oh my god, most people don't even know that's in the game.
Man,
I can't believe you did that.
What other way? I didn't know another way. That was the only way, man. I couldn't do nothing with my swords. I have it on Twitch as proof, man. There was nothing. What else should I have done? I didn't know about that switch. I never saw that switch at all.
That's what almost everyone, like that's 99% of the community.
Wow.
You are the 1%, man.
Wow.
You're the 1%. Because not only that, usually most people won't have the power to usually do that much damage in normal game. So, you would, it'd be the equivalent of killing the dragons, we're using hundreds of it.
Yeah. But then he stopped coming.
My goodness.
He stopped coming. I was like, hey, what's happening here? He's not coming back. So then I had to go all the way.
Oh, that's so fun. I wish. Did you record that? Twitch?
Yeah, it's on my Twitch channel. It's on my Twitch channel.
I gotta go find that. That is so fucking.
It's the oldest.
Like,
it's the oldest video.
I remember when I learned that from someone's video. I was like, "Wow, really? I never even thought about just sitting in the corner shooting it with."
And then the horse.
Because that's a good question. Because, yeah, with the gate thing, do you know what happens with the gate?
I saw it Phil. Yeah, of course. And now I know.
Yeah, you pull the gate, breaks, and you fight the horse.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's a good question. What happens if you kill it and you don't do that? It's like, I never thought about that. That's so fun. I
But then
can't
you
believe
see,
you did
indeed, you
that.
see the horse clinging to the edge of the hole in the ground, and then I walked to him with my spear, and I just poop,
Yeah,
and then he fell down in the hole, and I was all like,
that's so funny.
yeah, man, yeah. But I didn't know about this. I was like, because when I watched Phil, I always watch Phil doing the area I finished. When I go to bed or eat something, I like to watch Phil doing the area I just completed. So I saw him doing that. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna enjoy this fight because Phil is going to
You
be
were just like, I
ruined.
sat here shooting arrows.
And
What will
yeah,
Phil possibly do?
yeah. And then he said, "Oh, there's a switch there." And he threw the switch, a fence closed, and it
You're
was
just
like,
like, boo, this is fake!
yeah,
Phony! Move
yeah,
off the stage!
yeah.
You're a big fat phony!
And I thought he was the 1% that, be-
No, that's usually what most people do. It's
yeah,
very rare. Like, I remember how many people's minds were blown when someone actually did that and posted a video about it. People were just like, good lord, I never thought about it. What? It's like, I'm sure it's a lot more common knowledge now, but I mean, back when the game was new, it was like people were like, whoa, what?
yeah, you
That's funny. I would have loved to be like, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That was the only option, man. Because yeah, like I said, melee is not going to work against that raging carrot. So I was like, okay, I'll just hide in a niche, and every run he makes, I'll just shoot 2 arrows, and
Oh man, that must have took forever though.
well, more than 10. Yeah, but I have, of course, I am a dexterity build again, and I'm using. I have upgraded my short bow to +6, so it was quite okay, but it still took quite a lot of time indeed to.
You out of curiosity, you did fight the dragon wider, right?
Yes, I did. And
Okay.
yes,
Um, I don't remember if it's the best one, but it's usually the common one I would always make. Is, you can make a dragon wider bow out of
yeah,
his soul.
but what I noticed, the range of the Dragon Rider bow is 35, and I was like, oh my god, that's. I don't know what the range is on the short bow, but I think it was 60. With a short bow, I can shoot really, 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 really far, and I didn't
I never
create.
noticed that.
I didn't create a dragon bow because I was like, okay, yeah, your range is 35, and then I'm losing on my range, so I never bought it
But
actually.
then again, I had Hawkeye's wing too when I needed for the range. But that wasn't very often. I didn't really usually have that many problems.
Let me check
I
the
never knew that.
Dark Souls 2 range short bow.
There's always stuff to learn.
Yeah, maybe the range of the bow you mentioned isn't so bad either.
I always in Dark Souls 2 because I hated the Dragon Widow's bow and basically use that for the game. Like I said, I'm not sure off the top of my head if it's the best bow,
45.
but
Short bow is 45 and the dragon is 35, so maybe it's okay. Maybe I'll.
yeah, that's not that big of a difference.
No.
Yeah, I was going to say I would think I'd notice a big difference between 60 and 30.
I thought that I was
Like,
with 60 with short bow, but then maybe
I was going to
it's not
say
a
I
bad
would
deal.
think I'd notice a difference that big.
But you gotta upgrade it with dragon bone things, right?
Yes, yes. I believe it uses dragon. I think it used it at least one of the unique ones. I don't think it went with Titanite. But it does. Dragon stuff doesn't work like how it does in one. If I remember correctly, all dragon stuff scales in two. So if you're worried about that, plus if I remember correctly, Dragon Widow Bow has lightning, so I think it does a dash of faith. I think I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember.
Okay, I'll. It's just a warp back to that magician, and I can buy it
Yeah.
because there was nothing else I could.
Because I think the only other things you make with his soul is a heavy ass shield, which, if I remember correctly, isn't that good compared to other shit like Havels and all the other common big shields. And his halberd. So I was like, well, halberd, I don't really like halberd stuff very much, and the shield was like, I'm pretty sure it was like a 40, 50 weight shield. So I was like,
Yeah,
I guess I'll go with the bow.
very heavy, and you need quite a lot of strength for that shield. So
So I was like, oh, I'll go with the
yeah,
bow then. I need a good bow.
yeah.
This bow's not cutting in. I'm pretty sure it had natural lightning attached to it. So you didn't need lightning arrows. It would actually apply natural lightning if I remember correctly.
Could be
If I
interesting.
remember correctly.
Could be interesting.
I could be
because
wrong.
There's nothing like I also was like with that shield. No, I don't know it. That shield is way too heavy. Way too. I want a little bit
Yeah.
to have a little bit.
See, I used the large level shield for a good chunk of the game. It provides, I can't remember if it was 85 or 90 or 95 physical defense, but yeah, you may notice early on it's a little harder to immediately get 100 physical defense starting shield.
Yeah, I bought the Twin Dragon shield. It's a great shield, so I cannot parry, but it's got stability now at 70. So
Yeah.
so it's I think it was 100% or 95.
I think they purposely made Dark Souls 2 to make it a little harder to get a 100% shield early in the game. I think they wanted you to kind of feel a little pain.
Yeah, especially in the beginning of the game, that shield is so ridiculously low stability and damage reduction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just I'm surprised you honestly did that with the chariot fight. That's I've told Dan that. Actually, I don't even know if Dan knows about that death.
Well, you can still, like I said, you can still watch it on. You still.
Oh
got
yeah, I'll definitely go check that out. I gotta see your reaction to this shit.
Yeah, it's no. I have no voice. My microphone is
That's fine.
too far away to be connected to my PC when
You can tell with the character.
Yeah. But the most problem I had there was with the Red Guardian, the Phantom defending that castle. Where the chariot is in.
the big heavy ass
Come
knight.
on. He pounded my behind so
He's
many
pretty
times.
pretty notorious.
Wow, man! I lost quite good amount of souls on him, and then again and again I tried.
If you're really good, you can get him to fall off the bridge.
I did defeat him with the bow, and indeed lure him to the bridge, and then at one moment he stopped following. He just walked back, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna defeat you this way with my bow, and I'm just gonna, because fighting him was for me, wow.
Yeah, if you're doing a defensive build, he's the kind of enemy build hard to do without being over leveled, because his sword is basically designed to shadow your shield. Unless it's the gray shield in the game, you're pretty much going to get knocked into the ground.
Yeah.
So he's the kind of person you have to sidestep, dodge, or range, depending on obviously what kind of playstyles your character has access to. But I usually either backstab him. You gotta be careful with some of his swings, because some of his swings are those kind of archery ones that bend backwards and they'll nick you trying to go for his back.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, a lot of times I think I just would usually use pyromancy on him, just throw him off to the side or behind him with that sidestepping that. But yeah, probably another way you could take care of him is I'm sure you noticed the dead corpse on the little ledge you have to jump to from the bridge. You could probably go there and just shoot arrows at him all day. Probably.
Of course, that would have been an option.
Off.
Yeah. I didn't think about that. But that would
See,
that
like
would
have
been
there's thinking smart and there's breaking the game.
Yeah.
Sure, it's cheap, but you're using your terrain to your advantage. So it's I found under smart.
Yeah, he was too ridiculously hard for me. So like I said, when I defeated him, I went back to the bridge, and I was just shooting with a short bow. And at one moment, I was retreating too far for him to follow. Then some NPCs just walked back to the starting point. I was like, okay, I can, or just cheese my way out or be killed again and over again and again and again. I think, well, okay, I'm just gonna continue
Yeah, for
shooting
your
arrows.
situation, since you're a shield spear kind of build guy, which is how I started Dark Souls and walked my way into other stuff. So keep trying that. You can try some other. I
Yeah,
do
but
always recommend trying other weapons because believe me, you just gotta find the right kind of move set that works for you. But
for Dark
with
Souls
a
2,
spear,
Dark Souls 2 and the spear, it's I'm not fond of the spear. I'm more now that longsword, of
spears
course.
got a lot more nerfed because of how they were in one, so they adjusted spears a little bit more in two.
The stamina, and they are so slow and they use so much
Yeah,
stamina.
really, you have to either have a lot of stamina or learn to attack without your shield up when you find an opening
Yeah, but
and when you're being defensive.
even then, I can make 6 hits with the longsword,
Yeah.
with my shield down, and with the spare, maybe three or
Well, you
four.
see, that's the price of being more defensive. You have a less likelihood of taking massive damage, but slower progress in killing.
Yeah, so
There's a price for everything.
I got rid of my spear play, and yeah, I'm now using that longsword, and I'm quite enjoying that
So
file
see,
still.
you keep making me more proud. You're breaking out of your totaling ways and learning some other stuff.
Yeah, but in
You're
Dark
making
Souls
me.
1, the spear was awesome. In Dark Souls
Oh, that's
2,
because it was broken before they
yeah,
patched it, and even after they patched it, they still had some leniency. Like I
yeah,
said, two,
yeah,
they were a little more harsh on it. I mean, Ornstein's spiel you can make it into, but it's just broken. It's in a bad way, not in a good way. To me, it was like virtually unusable. It required so much shit. The scaling was really bad.
yeah.
Like the original spiel had such good scaling, even before they added the faith touch that made the lightning scale with faith. That
Hmm.
it just was so bad in Dark Souls 2. I was like,
Yeah,
oh, I was so excited to get this thing, and it's just a
yeah,
formal shadow of what it was.
yes, it is. And now I found the
Because it
spots.
man, because like I said, I that's what got me into PvP and more accepting of invaders. Because I loved I it got me out of my totaling ways some too. Because commonly I would two hand it a lot and just freaking go downtown on people who like basically my PvP Ornstein build I made on my American Dark Souls uh, disc because, like I said, the other one's a PAL version, so my
Hmm.
saves don't work with each other.
Yeah,
But he he was essentially like that guy in front of the chariot. Like you total your shield. Do you know what totaling is, by the way?
yeah, I know. Yeah, when they just,
Okay.
yeah,
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 just being defensive, like
yeah,
I'm just gonna kind of
yeah.
wiggle around here with my shield out.
Hmm.
Yeah, you total to me while I'm two handing my spiel.
Yeah,
You better one because I'm gonna break through that
yeah,
and then stab you several
yeah,
times.
yeah,
And even during your shield being up, you're taking lightning damage that's scaling off my high faith. So you're already taking damage even though you're blocking,
yeah.
and I'm shattering your shield, and then I'm stabbing you. And then I love it when they run away because I run after them, and then I'll one hand it. I think you can only use it one handing. Yeah, because when you two hand it, it does a special up thrust. I would return back to one handing and then hit R2 and shove a lightning bolt up their ass, and then watch them die and just be like,
Yeah.
so satisfying.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's why I wanted two so much. I was like, when I got his soul, I was like, oh God, please let me make this later on, please. I need. I was like, oh,
Yeah. It's yeah. It's different.
it was my
Yeah.
favorite weapon to use against people in Dark Souls 1. It was
Mm,
so sad. But hey,
yeah.
on the upside, you get to try other stuff on it. Like I
True.
think that's the best thing new people in the Soul series always try different stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not every sword is made equally or even works the same. Some have unique move sets or abilities when two-handing, one-handing. I mean, like the Moonlight Greatsword. Did you get the Moonlight Greatsword in one? You probably didn't.
I
You have
was
to cut
never.
out. You have to cut off Seath's tail to get it.
No, then I did not.
Its R2 ability shoots a giant fucking magic beam.
Oh.
So, I mean, different weapons do
Yeah.
different shit.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
don't just be like, it's some random samurai sword. You know, try out shit. You might be surprised. I mean, there's some weapons, especially in Dark Souls 3, where they kind of stole the transformation thing from Bloodborne and made a lot of weapons have buffs, abilities, unique movesets. I mean, hell, there was an axe I remember in Dark Souls 3 that's just useful for mobility. It has a evade thing. You could spam that in water and move a lot faster. Just spam this unique evade animation, go through all the water really fast. But that was kind of a cheesy thing. But, I mean, you just find unique things. And
Yeah. And try out
Think
this and
outside
that.
the box.
Yeah, and I'm not so fond of the slow, heavier weapons. They are.
Yeah, I never was a big fan of most heavy weapons. Ornstein's spear was probably the closest thing to any huge heavy weapons I ever really used. They're too slow for me to really properly react to most things, especially invaders. Like I was pretty much just committing suicide if I was using a really big, huge weapon.
Yeah.
There are unique situations, like if I remember correctly, or was that on one of my PvP killers I was building? I can't remember. It was either on a PvP killer I was building, or when we played in Skull of the Forced Sin. I believe I remember using one of the gigantic maces early in the game to kill a lot of the giants in Hyde's Tower really fast because I could two-shot them with it, two-handing, because I could two-hand and kill them really fast.
Yeah.
Like, there were a few unique situations where I did things like that, but yeah, overall, like, using it for a huge chunk of the game, not usually very common to use heavy things.
That's what I like to use as those big monsters in Arlondo in Dark Souls 1. They are good for just switch to two-handed and just stab them because they are so slow.
But you gotta remember, with two-hand, it has to have strength scaling because Dex doesn't get the bonus from two-handing. Only strength scaling does. So if it has strength scaling, then it gets a bonus for two-handing.
Oh. So a spear two-handed, well, it did more damage. But
it has low scaling. Most melee weapons will have strength and dex on them. It's just, if it's like a spear, it's higher dex scaling with maybe like a D in strength. But it has a D in strength, so it still gets scaling, so the damage still goes up. Just not much. That's why with two-handing a 50 strength hammer is going to pretty much flatten your freaking face in the ground because it's going to go like fucking hell compared to something with like 5D strength scaling stabbing.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, if it has absolutely no strength scaling, it does not benefit from two-handing. Now, if your two-handing gives you a unique ability or different moveset, then there's that.
Yeah.
But if it's literally nothing different and it has no strength scaling, you're pretty much hindering yourself. But usually most stuff has a different moveset or a unique R2 kind of effect when two-handing. So
the wing spear did have a D in strength, so I did get some bonus. Yeah.
You get some's better than others. Not all bonuses are made equally.
And now I found in Dark Souls 2 where to get the Great Skeeth. But probably it's not.
The what?
It's the Great Skeeth or Scythe.
Scythe.
Scythe. The Great Scythe, but it's from that Blood Guild. Because I just watched.
Yes.
I just watched the
the PvP. The guy past the chariot. Yeah, that's the PvP guild.
Yeah, he sells it.
Well, Covenant.
Yeah, but you can join him and then join another one.
You can leave and rejoin.
Yeah.
You just have to provide a thing, which you can find one in the world, or you could just try to kill someone. I mean, it's part of the game. Don't feel bad. Their soul is your gain.
That's why I could not join. Oh, he doesn't want to talk to me because I don't have
Yes,
that
you have
item.
to provide.
Yeah, now I
Um,
remember. Yeah, I have to provide something.
if I remember correctly, it's in the Guttle, the one you can find naturally in the world. And the reason it's there is because if you're playing single player, then you
You
can't
wouldn't get
ever
out.
get it. It's
Yes.
impossible.
Yeah. And the gutter is
There's no
still.
instant. There's no instant like wood track where you invade someone, even an NPC. So
Mhm.
there's no way. There would be no way to actually gain it. So that's why you can find one in the world.
I see. Well, it's
But
an
yeah, I
area
mean,
I
the
still have to
easiest
do.
way is
So
to
yeah.
you should have some cracked red eye orbs. So if you don't want to look for it, you could try invading some people and either try to legitimately kill them or just be like, I'm just gonna run to the boss room and see if you make it, and if not, then I'll fight you then because you'll have most of your Estus used. Okay.
I'll just wait for the gutter. It's not far off for where I
And
am now.
that's even if it's because I don't know if I'm remembering the base game, the Skull that for Sin, or if it's even in the same place in both of them.
No.
I don't really remember because, to be honest, I remember the placement of the base game because we played it multiple times. Skull the Full Sin I only did once.
Mhm.
I haven't replayed it, so I remember the enemy placement 3 way more. Obviously, I remember the unique things like the wet dragon in front of Hyde's bridge. I mean, that was a dick move there, man. That was a dick move. In case you don't realize, that wasn't there in the base game.
Ah. Oh yeah, the red dragon. Man, he took. That was another 100 arrows boss.
Yeah, that was a dick
Yeah.
move there. I was like, dick
Oh.
move,
Yeah.
Huey!
Bye bye Switch. You'll get a red dragon now. Yeah. Because when I watched DSP, there was no dragon because he's playing the normal.
Yeah, because he
dragon.
played.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't play the Skull of the Force Sin,
Nope.
actually. Yeah, he did the base game, so actually, there you go. You know the enemy placement of the base game.
Yeah. And so I know the differences now.
So that's actually interesting because you could have actually watched DSP, and only the stuff that stayed the same would be the only stuff you'd know. You wouldn't know that some of the support. That Red Dragon, I mean, it's in a place where you can literally see it from most places in the stage.
Yeah.
I remember when I first saw it, I was like, oh no. No.
But that's because you play the base game first, and then the schooler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's some instances I swear they were just trolling people from the original game.
Mm-hmm.
It really feels like a few of them were just honestly, it's like, you expected that.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen this time.
Nope.
So get this instead. Ah!
Or petrified statues that blocking your way now, which are not in the base game. In the base game, it's just corridor.
Those statues really made it weird.
Yeah.
Because, I honestly think they did not mean people to go to the Sentinel night so early. But they will very commonly, somebody, let's see, they would very commonly be like the third boss most people fought, instead of going around the back way, going to. I think the idea they wanted to do was to go to Hyde's Tower either after the Lost Giant in the Pursuer, or because then you would go to Wolf and end up behind.
Yeah.
Going backwards. And I think that's what they meant, and I think that's what they tried to correct in Skull of the Force Sin by really fucking trying to cock block you from getting to him from the front entrance. Because seriously, you can't get to them unless you get rid of those damn statues.
Yeah. And it's 12,000 souls a pop. So... yeah.
But you got the few you can find. The few. I mean,
there are quite a few.
A lot.
Yeah.
So many of those were added, so they added more of the branches.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot. There's ones you find, ones you buy, and just they're all over the freaking place in Skull of the Force Sin because there's so many. It was an interesting way to try and dick move in the gut. Have you been to the Guttum?
The what?
The Guttle?
No, it's one of the areas that's coming soon now.
Let me give you a hint. have a damn branch.
I think I have one on me. Yeah, I have one on me.
No, I actually have two because I think there's two of them down now. One, I'll just tell you, there was a bonfire near the boss, but in the Scholar for Sin, the assholes put a statue in front of the path. I was like, you
Yeah,
motherfuckers!
yeah,
You
yeah.
motherfuckers! You're lucky
It's
this boss is easy, or I'd be pissed.
yeah, especially behind a
Fuck.
bonfire, blocking a bonfire with such a joke.
And if you're doing the NPC quest, you have to get with. Well, actually, I can't win. Some of the NPC locations were changed up in Scott. I think it's the same in that spot. I think no. Oh, I can't remember. Good. This is the part I hate about these two versions. I can't remember everything that's from one or the other because they change. I know in the base game, I swear in the base game, Lucatiel is by the bonfire, or summon sign is by the bonfire. I can't remember if it is in Scholar for Sin. A part of me wants to say I think it was moved in some side path near the worms or something. I can't remember. By the way, are you doing any of the NPC storylines in 2?
As I progress through the game, maybe.
Have you even met Lucatiel? She's the one with the mask.
Oh yeah. I keep meeting her. I keep meeting her everywhere. She just give me a ring? Yeah, she gave me a ring of protection +1. So that was awesome.
Yeah.
Thumbs up for her. It's 60.
But there were 2 characters that have a main progression. They're controlled by being in a boss fight and surviving and winning. Lucatiel is one of them. So you have to summon, if you want to keep her quest going forward positively, she has to survive. I think they had to survive 3 boss fights for you to reach the positive, I got, this stuff from you reward. I think it's 3. Now, the positive thing in 2 is you can use a bonfire aesthetic and fight the same boss. So if it's like, oh yeah, this boss is easy, I need one more win, I'll use a bonfire stick and we fight it with her.
Oh.
So you can do that, but of course it has to be before the part which is the end, because if you get there and you haven't done the necessary, then you get the Warsaw path of the branch.
Yeah.
But in classic Dark Souls, nobody has a happy ending. But anyway.
No, basically not. Well, of course, we say some people do. If you work hard and read tons of guides. Jeez, man, that was
not really.
That was for me.
The greater, but then again, you don't have the knowledge of Dark Souls 3 to tell you about, because I swear you're thinking about Saliel probably.
Man, that was ridiculous. I would never.
Oh yeah, it's convoluted. You really have to cheat. You'd have to be totally the most luckiest person to have all that happen.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure has happened to someone, but it's definitely going to be a small minority.
Yeah, so basically the game is meant to be not like I did it. He was meant to be like the game is, if you don't know all the secret stuff about him and how to save it. That's the way basically how it was meant to go, the game.
Yeah, the odds are he's probably going to go hollow in most people's games if they're doing it blindly.
Yeah.
But with knowledge with Dark Souls 3, you kind of realize what happens to Saliel. But I won't go into that, obviously. But I don't think anyone ever has a happy ending in any of the Souls games ever. No one ever really seems to. But that's sadly the tragic tale of the lore in the games.
Yep. I need a quick stop at the bathroom. Let's see how far we are in now. So, almost 3 hours, Atticus. I'm going to do a quick stop at the bathroom, and then maybe we'll continue for another 15 minutes or so. the final conclusion session.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll get a cup of coffee as well. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right.
All right, I'm back. Hey. Come here.
Damn dogs. Making a drink and they went buck all day.
Hey. Oh, I have
Haven't
only.
called it get back yet. You there?
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back.
Okay. Give me 1 second here. I gotta see
Sure.
what the fuck these dogs are doing.
Uh,
They act like they're dying of cancer or something.
They're barking, probably. Hey. Uh, yeah.
Stupid damn dogs. This earpiece is literally barely hanging on. Okay. Yeah, I either have to get a new foam thing or oh my goodness.
Ah, yes. I was almost saying it's in the middle of the night, but of course, in your place it's now 4 p.m. or something, 5 p.m. maybe.
It is 4:36 p.m.
Yeah,
indeed.
4:36. Yeah, for you it's still
So
afternoon.
yes, it's I still have several hours before the day is up for me. If you want to call it, I mean that's fine.
No, like I said, we can do a conclusion. I don't know, maybe 10 minutes or 15. So if you still want to watch the carrot fight, it's on my Twitch. And
Wait, I ended the recording here, so let me restart mine here. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, that was it. That's it. It's on my Twitch. It's the oldest video, and you can just skip the first 45 minutes because I was beating over and over and over again, getting to the carrot fight. And there you can see that part. The first 45 minutes I was doing so bad. Man, even DSP is a god if you compare it. But not all my gameplay is that bad.
Yeah, he probably cheated, honestly. I mean, he always has his fucking stream chat.
Yeah, he
I
does.
mean,
He does. But he is able
I
to.
mean, I get wanting to talk to your viewers. I enjoy that. But especially like in his redemption one, you know, he's
Yeah.
like, he's like advertising this pure blind one.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, why do you have your stream chat then? If
No,
you want to be a pure, then you kind of, should close that.
yeah,
There you go.
yeah. Somebody counted how many times he watched this.
Yeah.
It was over 1,000 times during the complete
Like I said,
game.
you see, the debate with every single times we're looking for hints is that, when you're doing a stream, you want to interact with the viewers, though, of course. DSP hardly interacts with his viewers, but yeah, it's just, yeah, it was a pretty terrible Wii one. Like, he honestly has played every single game up to that point, including the game he's playing, and he still sucked horribly at so many things, bitching and complaining so much. Literally, like, with the flame stuff, like, when he complains about flames, like, I've noticed a lot lately, he's like, I can't tell what's going on. It's like, okay, look, I get when it's, for some people, Thori Flames is really bad, and obviously for pretty much everyone, going under Thori Flames is really bad.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure we can still visually understand what's going on, unless it's like 2 flames or something. Like, 15 Flames looks awful, but I'm pretty sure I can still understand what's going on. He's sometimes complaining like he's blind. Like, I can't even tell what's going on. It's like, what?
Yeah, but the game is slowing down as well. So in those 15 frames, what takes 1 second? No, 2 seconds in 15 frames would normally take 1 second of game time. So everything what will happen in normal gameplay in 30 seconds, in 30 frames, will happen in 15 frames as well, but just slow down. So basically there is just the same, but it's slower, but everything is still happening. You're not missing a single thing.
You would think it's even easier. I mean, like, unless it's
true.
So few flames. Like, how do you not see what's going on? I just don't. He really sounds like he's acting like he's blind now, instead of just saying, like, because he used to be more like, oh, the flames are they're so horrible. Look, it's so choppy. It's so choppy. Like, I remember that from the Metal Gear games. But now it's just like, I can't tell what's going on. It's like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
You do this for a living. You beat tons of games every year, and you make no noticeable improvement at all for anything, pretty much.
No.
It's like, my goodness.
So,
go ahead. You can go ahead.
Yeah, well, I said earlier, for me, it's also a little bit a feel-good channel. I'm not such a bad player when I watch the DSP.
No, like, believe me, if you're worse than Phil, then you might be in the long hobby.
Like you mentioned before, in Dark Souls 2, his 32 faith is really, really helping him out.
You gotta keep in mind, he's playing the base game, obviously, as early as he could humanly possibly get his hands on it.
Yeah.
Faith was incredibly overpowered.
That lightning bolt is.
But then they nerfed it to where it's so like, a lot of people don't like doing faith builds in 2 because of it.
Yeah.
So they nerfed it where nobody usually wants to do it anymore. But in the base game, faith, and because of that, I was even more hyped for Steen's Spear. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
I was so hyped for that, and I was like, man, I let down. But yes, he relied a lot on lightning.
Yeah,
I know I use a lot of magic in my arsenal too, but yes, it was pretty much lightning, and if that didn't work, then oh my goodness, what am I doing?
Yeah, but I saw the damage. He's clocking 450, 500 damage with those lightning bolts. I was almost at the point from, wow, man, I'm gonna work on my faith, because hey, with my bow I do 90 damage, and his lightning bolt 500 almost. But
then you're like, why is this not working?
It's too late for me now anyway to start.
Yeah.
To start.
You'd have to get
faith.
the base game and I guess you wouldn't even be able to do the PC version because I mean, if you were to download the base game on the PC version, it would just auto be
Yes, it
the
would be
most.
patched.
You
Yeah.
can't like get the base and then
No.
update. So
No.
yeah, you'd have to play the console version to experience that same thing. So yeah,
Yeah.
you'd have to go
So
out of your way play the PS3 version.
I'll just keep my faith.
Okay.
My faith at 5.
Not do the DLC either.
No. It's the lowest intelligence and faith are
Oh,
both.
I never watched him play the DLC because it took so long waiting for him to make a physical version with the DLC. I never watched it. Oh, I need to go check that out. This ought to be because I bet he used his same Kyoto, and by that time they nerfed the lightning. This ought to
Probably.
be interesting.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, oh my god, this thing is. There's literally one boss that just spews poison everywhere. That's going to be so funny. He's like, I'm dying of poison and this lightning as I'm walking. Ah! Oh, that'd be funny.
Well, I
Ooh.
was able to burn that mill to get rid of the poison at one boss. What was that place?
Cheeto, you're fun!
What was that place called? With all the poison area.
I mean, I know what you're
Earthen
talking
Keep.
about.
Earthen Keep? Wasn't that Earthen Keep? Probably.
Oh, what? I don't remember. Don't remember. Yeah, but I know what you're talking about with the snake lady.
With the snake lady. Yeah.
Some of the weirdest lore in the second game, in my opinion.
There were so many signs on the floor. Use.
That,
Kendall.
if you're in the white soul memory range, you'll get tons of people waiting to summon you. But then again, in the Skull of the Fourth Sin, you not only have one of the most overpowered NPCs available in that game, that was in the base game also, but I believe there was another NPC they added in the Skull of the Great Sin. So, But yeah, it was a big summon place in the base game, so more targets made it easier to basically scuttle around, or because without focusing on you, it made it a lot harder.
Yeah, but I always try to do it solo without NPCs. So probably I'm gonna break a lot of quest lines for that lady and the other dude. But I always try it first solo.
Well, Ben Hart's the other one, and you may or may not have met him, depending how very closely you've explored Majula. Well, I should say the area around Majula, but you can meet Ben Hart very early, but you have to go the right way.
I don't think I met him. I did meet Pete and his former friend. And the lady, of course. That one lady. Pete, yeah, Pete. yeah.
Pate, whip off patches, knock off.
Yeah, but he did warn me for those bandits in the first area, so that was cool.
But the thing is, did he do that for your own good, or did he do that to get your trust, or did he do that for both outcomes, to earn your trust and if you survived or if you died to loot you?
Yeah, but he did warn me, so that's I'll give him that. So
did you ever? Because I'm assuming you watched some cartoons since you linked me that one, Sauce one.
That's the only one I watched, basically.
You should watch Happy Souls. It's a Dark Souls 2 one. Yeah, it's two players playing co-op. It's a cartoon of two players playing co-op. It's very funny. It has a lot of nice nods to what a lot of the player base experienced at different points in the games, or thoughts on certain things. There's a lot of nice gags in there.
Yeah, I like that. Those cartoons I like, and the other one as well. I did watch until the point where I was in Dark Souls 1, because if I go further, then I see things that I didn't know, because I watched it a couple of weeks ago. So
yeah.
And yeah. So the last thing I wanted to mention is I was thinking maybe next month Of course, I'm gonna buy Persona, but I think I'm also going to buy that Game of the Year edition for Bloodborne. So I can
Yeah.
always try Bloodborne as well. It's. But I've watched some reviews, and like you
Well,
said, it's
we'll put it this way. We'll put it this way. With the Noah, or however you pronounce
near.
Bloodborne
Yeah.
is not Noah.
No, I'm glad it isn't.
It is faster paced,
Hmm.
but in my opinion, it's still a game where you need to think more about what you're doing
Yeah.
versus mashing the attack button.
Yeah.
It's just you don't have a totaling shield to hide behind.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's.
It is not Noah, so it's a lot more plausible for
eh,
you, but it isn't going to be 100% the same either.
no, but it has great level design as well. What I heard. Or
Oh
what I.
yes.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
After Dark Souls 2, Bloodborne was it was an amazing game. A new environment, new setting. The only thing that was really disappointing to me was because it's probably the most balanced game out of all the games, but that's because it has less gear. There were less weapons and less armor sets,
Hmm.
and because all the gear has transformations, like the spear. The spear acts as everything has like some weapons. Like okay, the cane like can act like a single-handed sword, but when it transforms, it's a whip. So it took care of single-hand swords, whips. You know, different weapons transform into completely different playstyles, while other ones sometimes just moderately change how they
Hmm.
walk a little bit.
Hmm. Hmm.
I mean, they configure all the basic weapon design, so you don't have like 12 different long swords and maybe two extra boss special swords and things. And that was also something I hated too. There were no boss souls or something the equivalent of a like a lump of flesh or something. There was none of that, which is another source of lore.
Yeah.
I liked the balancement, but the lack of items and the lack of like a equivalent of a boss soul thing, trophy, whatever you want to really refer to it as, it hurt the information lore. I mean, it has a very interesting lore, but a lot of it is a lot more assumptions based off environmental cues, which, I mean, the environmental cues are cool too, but it's just, there's a lot lacking information. And believe me, while it's been fun to explore the lore and theories of Bloodborne, it was a lot harder for people to do because of the lacking information in the game. That's
Yeah.
why a lot of people were excited about the DLC. It was going to expand on more information. But yeah, it has its downs too, and obviously with the limited gear and sets, you run into a lot of people using same weapons, same armor set. They're like, there's some people who deliberately look like fucking idiots in their armor set just to stand out. Because
Yeah.
there's so few. There's so few,
Hmm.
and so many of them are very similar. A lot of the early ones are just small changes in the hunter outfits until you get to the more bizarre, unique sets and that. But I
But that's
definitely recommend it.
for
Maybe.
balancing. For
Oh, go ahead.
balancing a game, it's of course it's not so bad. You can keep the balance within limits.
Yeah, I would say Bloodborne's more balanced
Hmm.
in the most balanced PvP and player environmental kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's so few things to choose from, and everything has kind of a more rock paper scissors kind of design because there's so more lesser amounts of shit. You don't have like 20 different great swords and I mean the variety adds a lot of uniqueness and thinking out of the box. I mean
Yeah.
I love PvP streams where people are thinking outside the box with sword weapons and shit and just do all these unique ways of killing or trolling people. But it's just so hard to have that kind of experience in Bloodborne. And
Hmm.
the PvP kind of stuff in it's just kind of odd. I mean, the most balanced, but at the same time, it's just everyone looks the same
Yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
of times too. So,
Yeah.
I'd say I lean more towards Dark Souls equipment amount, but that's just me. I mean, those player base that really prefers Bloodborne's PvP in that regard. There was a pretty significant people that liked its PvP compared, especially in the backstabbing department. While Dark Souls 3 retained the same backstabbing as the other games, Bloodborne changed how backstabbing had to be activated. You had to do a charge attack, and sword weapons don't have that charge, like the cane, for example. In its cane form, it does, but in the whip form, it doesn't. But you had to do this unique charge attack that sword weapons had, and you had to do a surprise back attack with it that would force them on their knees, and thus they could then be backstabbed. So, and that applies to players. So, there aren't a lot of times you're going to get backstab on a player, so you can't do the classic. I'm just gonna total around until I get that 1 inch near your back that's gonna let me stop backstabbing you.
Yeah. So I think that's better in Bloodborne.
And a lot of people like that,
Yeah.
because that's some of the most boring PvP. I mean, I understand in some situations, like you're getting near a boss, you don't want to lose your shit, so you're really defensive and that. But when because the forest is a very like in Dark Souls 1, the forest is a very common place where all parties are usually looking to fight people. You're gonna randomly get the people sometimes that are trying to get to the Great Wolf or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of times you find people who are literally just sitting there waiting for people so they can fight each other. That it's really boring when you all just throw your shields up constantly and you're just totaling around. It's a lot funner to get in there and get to nitty gritty of that. And you just get these people sometimes, especially with the peer-to-peer connection, Dark Souls 1, you could take advantage of connection advantage and just kind of weasel into the back.
Yep.
Be like, oh, what the fuck? He was still on my left.
Yep.
What?
Nope. I'm already on your behind, but
so
yeah.
I mean, it was just a comment. Oh, that reminds me. I should show you the Billy video. You'll love that. Now, Billy, you want to be good at Dark Souls, right? Yeah, I want to be good at Dark Souls. Well, always remember to always bow to your opponent. Okay. Oh, that fucker just killed me.
Yeah, of course.
Can I gank and spank him too? It's like he's like what's up with that? It's like, Billy, that's a gank and spank. Oh, I want a gank and spank too, Now, Billy, that's not the proper thing to do in Dark Souls.
It's always bow, eh? Yeah.
So, it's like those old black and white 70s kind of little things you would see in like schools telling you like not do drugs or how to drive safe and things. That kind of, it's a parody of that with Dark Souls. It's hilarious. You'll get a kick out of it.
I did meet in the beginning of Dark Souls 2. I was getting invaded by a guy, and he was called Go Train Noob, and I was polite to him, so we both bowed, and of course I lost. But each time, the first time I lost to him, he dropped like 10 human effigies and some.
And you see, that's what's really interesting about the PvP. There are really different types of people. There's some people who are, just mortalist lunatics, and you get. Here's a unique experience I had in Demon Souls. Now, in Demon Souls, invaders can interact with the enemies, and this was obviously fixed in all following games, but invader could go and just mortal all the NPC, like the enemies in this area.
Yeah.
I had one time on a Wii play, I was trying a low build. I was in the further part of what was the kingdom area called? Oh, I can't remember. But I was in the further area where it's like the long stretch towards the boss with lots of knights on it, and I got invaded. and I didn't have a lot of stuff on me left, and I was probably dead meat. But the guy actually dropped some healing stuff for me and helped
Yeah.
me to the stage, and then he bowed, and we had a fight, and then I killed him. But
Oh, yeah.
you meet people who sometimes a lot nicer, even though they may intentionally seem like they want to murder you. I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen. Here's a common type of duelist PvP invader. Sometimes they'll drop an item and then fight you. The idea is if you kill them, you get whatever they dropped. And if you don't, well, they'll usually either one back and grab it or, well, it's a loss to them.
Uh-huh.
Either way, you get weird, unique experiences
Yep.
sometimes like that when you
Yep.
interact with
That was
PvP.
that was a great experience. And the next day I met him again, so I was like, "Hey, okay, man, it's good to see you." Because hey, human effigies, they're always welcome. So I politely bowed, and of course he killed me again. But after he killed me, he dropped 5 human effigies and some healing stuff. That was awesome. But for the rest, all invaders are just like you said,
Yeah, the
murdering.
majority invaders basic seek and destroy, but you get
Yeah,
some unique ones.
yeah,
You get some unique ones in there, and those
yeah.
are the ones that usually gonna stick in your memory a lot
Mhm,
more than the
mhm.
obviously the person who's just trying to kill you.
Yeah, yeah. So that's why I'm not. That's why I'm not gonna lower myself to the blood guild to invade other people's. I'm not gonna lower myself killing other
But
players.
see, the thing is, like in Dark Souls 1, in Demon Souls, the Wed Soapstone is the duelist stone, or
Yeah,
usually used by duelists,
yeah,
because the host has to willingly
yes.
summon you into the
Accept you.
world. So
Yeah.
it's considered for duels.
Hmm.
But in the Dragon Covenant kind of devoured that aspect a little bit. It's also seen as a duelist covenant. But yeah, I mean, but then again, sometimes they're assholes too. I mean, it just really depends on the player. I mean,
Yeah,
you get weird situations.
yeah.
You get some strange. I remember one time in the forest, I was invaded by a Wed Phantom, and a forest invader came in, and he actually killed the invader and escorted me to the end. Of course, he can't interact with the
Yeah,
enemies.
yeah.
Um, And it was just a we play thing. It wasn't a necessity, but he fought the invader instead of killing me. And technically, while it doesn't actually affect his gameplay, he technically betrayed his covenant. But I don't know. Sometimes people just do weird things, you know.
Yeah. And those are the ones you remember most.
And then you get the role playing type too, where Dark Souls 1 had a very strong role play PvP covenants like Dark Moon, always kill sinners. You sinned. I have no like. There was in the Billy video makes fun of this. There was a thing where if you bow, you theoretically agreeing not to heal and do an honorable fight in that. And there's always been like this, like some people like, yeah, you bow, you agree not to heal. You're a dick if you heal after you bow. And other people are like, well, it's not an official agreement. They could
Nope.
just be honorable. It just. And keep that in mind. Some people like if you get like a message saying you're a fucking dick or something after you bow, that's probably why because they are under that. I sometimes do that consistent. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I don't. It just depends. I kind of go with the role playing mindset. If I'm a Dark Moon, you can bow all you want. I'm gonna fucking kill you as hardcore as I can. You're a sinner.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
send. You die. You
Yep.
die. If I'm Invader, it's kind of up in the air. If I'm Dark Forest, I'm kind of a troll when I'm in the forest. I'm a troll. Troll, lol, lol. I'm under the bridge. Give me some mushroom people to eat.
Yeah. So that's why in Dark Souls 2, you can enter a custom name, and that name will be shown to your competitor. But in Dark Souls 1, it's your PSN account name
Yeah.
that gets shown to the competitor. So I'm glad they changed that to so they cannot private message me or I cannot private message them. So
No, they can still do it. They go to the players last played with. You'll be there.
Oh, but in Steam there is no such. Yeah,
Oh
there.
well, yeah. I'm thinking on PlayStation.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're
yeah,
right.
yeah, 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 yeah. But
Yeah, I don't know if
indeed,
there's
you are
anything like
right.
that on Steam.
Yeah,
But yeah, on
yeah.
PlayStation, you just go to the last player you play, and it's like, there you go. There's the dickweed who did that cheesy ass
Oh,
thing. Fuck you, you asshole,
even for
bitch,
invaders.
motherfucker.
It sees an invader as last people you have played with. That's oh yeah. Yeah, then
Yeah,
some
the thing
invade.
I hate as a Vadal is I understand gang squatting when you're doing progress in a stage, but I hate it when you're obviously wadding in a place, wanting invaders, you're using dry fingers and you're ganking all the invaders.
Mhm.
Like I hate that. It's like, okay, if you bow and we do 1-on-1, I kill that phantom, next phantom bow 1-on-1, kill that phantom. Like that thing I don't mind. It's when it's like, yeah, I'm just using dry fingers 5 million times. Oh, there's some invaders. Everyone kill them.
Yep.
Like I hate that shit.
Yeah.
The forest is the only place I consider that okay because it's basically a free fall. You have so many parties involved; it's a
Yeah.
chaotic mess. So
Yeah.
the forest in like Dark Souls 1, I think that kind of thing's okay, but it's stuff where you're like wadding in a actual zone, like a normal zone. You're purposely trying to pull summons, like especially like the ones because the spots are there's so many spots in each area where you spawn in. They're usually like it's like okay, I think we'll camp to this one and we'll just sit here, wait till somebody comes in and kill them and shit. And
Hmm.
they'll have all the enemies cleared out, so you
Yeah.
can't use them
Yeah.
as any form of
Exactly.
defense.
Exactly.
It's very annoying to get those kind of people when you want to duel. I mean, and I go from different mindsets. Sometimes I want to duel, so that like when I duel, I will avoid healing. What I do is if the person I'm fighting decides to heal, I will then heal. If they don't, then I will not heal. That's kind of how I am with the whole bowing thing. Basically, I'll heal if you heal. If you don't heal, I won't,
Yeah.
and we'll go with that.
That's the most
That's
honorable.
kind of how I do
Yeah.
it. But
Well.
yeah, if I'm the host, I'm doing progress. It depends. If I'm near the bonfire, I don't mind. Like mid near the end stage, like I'm sorry, I'm doing whatever gets me to live.
When I get invaded, I always run back to the bonfire. The last bonfire I
Yeah,
visited.
that's always a good tactic
Yeah.
if you have a lot of stuff and you don't want to
Yeah.
lose them. Go
Yeah.
somewhere you can either get to easy or
Yeah.
back to a bonfire.
Yeah. 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 That's the first thing I do, and then all right, I'll give it a try. But I already
And I
know.
don't blame you in
Uh,
Dark Souls 2 because the higher that soul memory is, you have no freaking idea who the hell is going to
hmm.
connect to you.
Hmm.
If it was
And
1 or 3 or Bloodborne or Demon Souls, I'd say it's unless you're new, and you're new. But I mean, like if you're a more senior person, that's
yeah,
chickening out. And I won't lie, I've had my situations.
but it's still well populated. Dark Souls 2 is still having
Oh, I would think it's
a
way
good.
better on the at least PC front because the problem I had ever since Dark Souls 1 is it's on everything, and I'm not saying in the sense of, oh, I want this to stay a Sony exclusive, you filthy other people. It's just, I'm looking at the player base. Like, when you had Demon Souls all the way on the PS3, all those people are there.
Hmm.
As a like especially with Dark Souls 2, I think is the worst in the sense because you have the previous gen and the next gen portion.
Yeah.
So now is it split between the PS3, the Xbox 360, and PC. It's split between another version on PC, the PS4, and the Xbox One.
Yeah. True. True.
That's 6 different splits of a player base. But yeah, the PC front is probably going to remain the largest after launches. Like, I'm sure the PC base is bigger for Dark Souls 1 than the PS3 version, I would say.
I would say as well.
Um,
Yeah.
Now, like, Dark Souls 3 is probably debatable until it gets more older. It's still pretty fresh on the system. But yeah, as
Yeah.
the system and the game gets older, the PC base is probably going to still remain the largest after that. But During launch, iffy.
Yeah, I
You
think the
know,
PlayStation 4 is more populated during launch. But as less people are
I would
having,
say compared to the Xbox, yeah, I would say console-wise is probably the
yeah,
biggest, especially since the franchise pretty much FromSoft overall has been very Sony-sided. I mean, they've had some Armored Core games and things beyond the 360 and that before, but I mean, they a lot of their franchises have a lot of strong roots in Sony's platforms.
mhm,
So.
mhm.
Whether you were a FromSoft fan before Souls became popular, or you started with Demon Souls, I do think a good chunk of the fan base is, at least in the console side, on the Sony side than Microsoft. But I am on the front of, I love the games going. I like seeing the Japanese RPG games appearing on Steam. No, I don't want the Steam version. If they're on GOG, you can call me then, but I like them being on other stuff. I want people to enjoy other games, so I don't want to sound like I'm saying, oh, I want this game to be here. It's just I get more concerned as the player base is breaking up. But that's why I was kind of happy about Bloodborne being an exclusive, because then
Yeah.
all that player base is there. And
Hmm.
it didn't have the problem with Demon Souls where you had Atlas's server in America, Sony's server in Japan, and then Bandai Namco's server in Europe. After Demon Souls, the servers have always been everyone. So, you really had everyone in the world on one system.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the online base was really super mega strong.
Yeah.
But again, there's less people experiencing it because if you're not willing to buy a PS4, well, you're not playing it till somebody emulates it at least.
Yeah. And now the Wii U is very, very close. It's almost totally
Well,
emulatable.
because I'm not going to be doing updates probably anytime much sooner. It's probably going to be really easy to finally start putting the final nails in the coffin.
It's ridiculous how until the last day the Wii U still too expensive to my opinion.
They're going to want to get as much money as they can before they're
Yeah.
shelving the things. But like I told Aaron, because he never got a Wii, and there's some stuff his game, something's wrong with his GameCube. There's some stuff on the Wii he's interested in, and like Zelda or something he's interested with the Wii U. But he's in like a strange, like, if I get a Wii, I can play GameCube games on it. But if I get a Wii U, I can play Wii on that, but I can't get the GameCube. But I was like, I'd probably go for the Wii U, because then you can get the Wii, and I mean, there's millions of fucking GameCubes. GameCubes are like $20 a
Yeah.
dozen.
Yeah.
Like it is not hard to find a GameCube. Like I can look. I haven't seen like online prices for them in a long time. I mean, I remember the guy. The guy I trade some of the stuff I find at GameStop's dumpster, like a lot of the posters and shit, because he'll use them to decorate his store. Like I remember his old place, he literally had like a wall of fucking GameCubes, just a fucking wall of the things. It was crazy. It looks like their average used price on Amazon, depending on color and that, is around $50. I'd say $20 is a much better price unless it has the GBA player. That thing's expensive because people have trouble finding. Like, it's not the actual player; it's the disc. The disc you need for the GBA player. Finding a working one's really difficult for a lot of people. So that's actually ironically more valuable than the game itself. I'd say $20 is a better price point. I guess some people have probably been slowly raising it up because it's Nintendo. The mystic Nintendo.
So I'm glad.
You lit?
I'm
Oh,
glad we're very close to play Xenoblade Chronicles X on the PC and then Persona game.
I still haven't played X. I was really hyped for it, and then all the dumbass shit Nintendo did around that time period pissed me off, and I just moved on to other things.
Well, I did play 10 minutes, and there's also a gun now, and that's really.
Well, the sniper hero had a gun in the previous game.
Yeah, but you have a gun now, and there is close combat and ranged with a gun. I don't
Uh,
know. I don't know if I'm gonna like it as much as I did with
yeah, nah.
the original Xenoblade. But a Persona game, I still want to check out. But that is not running
Oh,
at
I
all.
pre-ordered the limited edition with my Amazon Prime. That 20% discount.
That's a Wii U Persona game.
No, the Persona 5.
Ah, no, I want.
I got the limited edition of it. Oh, was you talking about the
Ooh,
Wii U one? I jumped the
yeah,
gun.
yeah. The Wii
I
U one.
did get the limited edition later. Some random third party seller on Amazon was selling it for like I think it was 39 or something. I think the scalpers who tried to scalp it did not have the same success as Fire Emblem Fates. I think there was too many people who tried to scalp it, and unlike Fates, which did not suffer a ton of censorship, it had some stupid shit. The thing I hated the most was the removed dialogue of some of the characters and memeing up some of the shit. But what they did to Tokyo Mirage's like aesthetic design was just really horrible in my opinion. I mean, they literally changed so many characters' clothing, like completely, or even we taught shit like the wedding dress. Like, oh my god, you could see below her neck skin. We need to color that in, make it look like it's part of the dress or something.
Yeah,
Or
but
even her fucking arms had extended sleeves in the American version. Like, oh my god, skin!
but the game is still the game. I mean, okay, they
Yes,
changed the dress, so
the gameplay is
yeah,
indeed still the same. It is
yeah,
intact,
yeah,
but I just thought it was so disrespectful because it mirrored the game's theme is drowning in the idol culture in Japan, and to me, it looks like the Nintendo was like, well, the idol culture is obviously not really a thing unless you're like a hardcore Japanese fan, otaku kind of person. What could we do? We could compare it to the modeling industry. Yeah, there we go. Change it all in the shitty teenager hats and scarves, and yeah, we'll just model it off the Western model industry. Yeah, we'll go with that. Like, I just like it really made me very uninterested in a story aspect because I just like they change like I understand some changes are necessary at times for people who don't understand other cultures. But I just feel like they went way too far with Tokyo Mirage. But yes, the gameplay is the same. If you don't give a shit about any of the story or characters or anything, the gameplay is the same, and that is a more important thing. It just made me very uninterested in the story aspect because of what they did towards the themes of the game. It burned me. And then that was after I always had a negative feeling over Fire Emblem Fates, which I was playing. I played a good chunk of Fates before I put down because I was. It's not awful, but it's just it pisses me off. They took out a game mode. They took out outfits you can give to the characters out because oh my god, bathing suits. Holy shit, we can't have that. Hell, we didn't even get DLC. That was a whole. It was merely a strange bathing suit DLC thing, which Tokyo Mirage also had. Actually, we didn't get that either. Both of those didn't come out for us. It was very bizarre.
yeah. And what to me is strange is they have to change the dress in Tokyo Mirage, but games. If you remember for the PlayStation Portable, there was that game with girls, and you have to undress those girls, and the more you undress them, the more damage they do in fights. And those games, they don't have to change at all. I mean, come on, you have to
See,
undress girls.
which one was that?
It was wasn't that PlayStation Portable or Vita? There was a game. I have
I
not
know there's
bought
some
it.
Japanese games out in Japan.
Yeah.
Are you talking about one that was local?
Yeah, it was also in the Western market.
It was localized. A
Yeah,
game.
yeah,
Well,
yeah. You have to undress girls
so-
in battles, and the more you undress them, the more damage they do.
Oh, are you talking about that thing with vampires?
I don't know. I have not bought that game.
Is it like the beat 'em up where you're whipping the clothes off and that?
Not sure.
We talk about an RPG. What's the gameplay like?
Yeah, it's Japanese RPG.
It's an RPG,
Yeah.
turn-based. I don't know. I was gonna say that vampire thing. That's a silly ass game that Exceed published because the vampire's like, oh, the sun's a weakness. Pull off the clothes.
Yeah, that's a different game.
How
Yeah,
Feminist
I
went
remember that
crazy
game.
over there.
Yeah, that's a different
they're
game.
like, oh my god, you're
Yeah.
whipping clothing off women. It's like, no, there's lots of guys, and plus, you're also a vampire who also gets no clothing whipped off. You fucking stupid idiots.
Yeah, but those games are okay. But we have to change the dress in Persona.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
I know there's like I remember there was a Japanese Vita game, but as far as I know, it never came to America. I have no idea what you're talking about if it was localized in America. Like I know of, like I said, I've seen some titles for the PSP and Vita with that kind of theme in Japan, but I don't remember anything like that being localized. I can't think of it.
I don't recall the title.
I'd be honestly surprised if it did. I'd be made something like that got local. Wait. No, but you said it was a turn-based RPG.
Yeah, turn-based or action.
I was going to say Senga Kagwa.
What?
Oh, it's that ninja boobs series that Exceed does.
I don't think it
all
was
the ninjas and big boobed goals. But that's not RPG.
No.
I was going to say, there's a lot of clothing falling off when you fight each other on that.
No, but you have to actually undress girls.
RPG that was localized. You 100% sure it was localized?
Yeah, but I'm not sure it's turn-based.
Oh, you're not sure if it's turn?
No.
I don't know.
Maybe one day I'll find the title and I rent it too. But it's running really late now here at the moment, so I think we're gonna best if we.
He's gonna run away. The ninja boobs have scaled Carter. He's reached his limit. He has to run.
Yeah,
he has to bail.
Yeah, because so many topics now. I'm thinking about compile hearts and stuff. And no, it's 3 hours 40 minutes. I think we had a great stream, man. We should do this more often. Maybe.
Oh, it's always fun to get to do it, but it's always hard to get people all in a good time to do it and that.
Yeah, maybe next time with Dan again. I think Dan is a good.
I've been wanting to. I've been wanting to try Sega CD Universe if he wanted to do another talkie thing. I haven't done a thing with him in a long time, but like me, he works a city job, so. Won't state anything, but
and a family, so that all takes quite a lot of time, of course.
I don't remember him having a kid, but I think he has a girlfriend. I think, not to get in his personal thing.
They were playing Don't Starve Together a couple of weeks ago.
I think he had a previous relationship. He either left or divorced, or I don't remember. But I think he had a previous relationship, but he's in a newer relationship. But I don't think he had any kids or anything.
Okay.
But yeah.
But still, it all takes time. So we'll see what we'll do next time.
I didn't know you watched anything from Sega CD Universe.
No, Dergi. I always watch
Oh,
his
Dan.
Dana
No, I
Chiefs
was referring
channel.
to Sega. I said I'd like to do another thing with Sega CD Universe.
I don't know him.
Yeah, Dan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Dan.
Dan's married and he has 2 kids. So
Yeah.
for Dan, it's a similar situation too. He does well, he's always publicly said, so I guess it's not really a problem. He deals with water stuff in his city. So, but yeah, I like doing talking to people. I thought about because Discord's actually pretty open with a lot of options. I've thought about maybe trying to do something with maybe viewers entering a thing. Multiple people joining a call, possibly.
Oh, but it's live. Then you want to stream it live.
I thought about it.
Mm-hmm. That's an option.
The only thing it's just been, it'd be an interesting way to talk about things, possibly. But yeah, the only way it wouldn't work live would be say, hey, I'm gonna take people. See, the thing is, on Discord, you can create a community and invite people to that community. So the only way it would not work live would basically be like have people join the community and say, hey, we are going to record a stream thing. If you want to join, let me know. I will invite you on Discord into the chat or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from like shouting out on Twitter or something, but that would be more chaotic. But that would be the only way I'd really prefer to do it offline. And I would prefer to do it offline because I've seen it happen so many times. I haven't seen it a lot lately, but I remember in older days, people who would do things like that where they'd invite people from like the live stream chat. They'd get trolls who'd like start playing copyright music and try to get the video flagged and shit.
No, that's not. That's
So
not what we
that
want.
would be my only concern doing it live.
Yeah.
I obviously I don't think any of my actual viewers would do that, but you can't control the random people that come across your video.
Exactly. And that's why some people always give a link to other people if they only can join if they have a link or some password.
Yeah, that's with Google
Yeah.
Hangout. You have to have a link to join a Google Hangout.
Yeah.
That's why. Yeah. And if somebody you don't trust, or somebody you thought you trust, gives that link away. Because I remember there was a stream with Saga on a card, some random stream. Somebody randomly kept joining that everyone claimed they didn't know who the fuck it was, but somehow they kept joining. So somebody leaked that link out, and that person just kept joining. Luckily, he wasn't doing anything. He was just joined and sat there. He didn't say or play anything. But yeah, still, that's not usually good if some random person you don't know joins a secure conversation like that. But I will let you be on your way unless there was something you want to say.
Nope. I think we covered a lot of good topics about Dark Souls, and I hope it's interesting. This is going to be a long podcast, or however you say it. It's about 4 hours.
It's a good excuse for me to get a lot of gameplay footage.
Are you going to? Yeah, I'm going to. Tomorrow I'm going to watch how big the file is and probably uploaded it in one piece to YouTube. I'm not going to split it into half hour, but I'll see that tomorrow. Thank you for your time. Yep. And it's really bad time over here.
Oh, sorry, it's so late.
Well, no, it's okay. It's 12.
Okay, yeah, it's all your fault.
Yeah.
You hear, folks. He's accepting the blame.
Yeah, I am. Hey, have a nice evening, and
you too, man.
See you later on Steam.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Take it easy.
I will.
See everyone out there in soul space.
Yes, and have a jolly good time.